Hey everybody, welcome to another welcome okay. Hi everybody, welcome to a wonderful new Cell of a Night with me, Cell, but also
Oh, am I supposed to introduce myself now? Oh, hold.
hey,
Hi.
we got Link.
Hi.
Yeah, if
Hi.
yeah, so I accidentally clicked the wrong one between my just chatting screen and my talk show screen. So you just didn't pop up for a second. But yeah, we got Pokey. We got Pokey in VR.
Yeah, so I'm sitting in VR, and also do not take effect that my mouth does not move when I speak. I fucked up this model badly.
Yeah. Uh, so we are doing. I'm doing some cool testings for the talk show to make sure I can get anybody on as a guest.
Bro's a robot now.
Wait, does
Beep
Pokey
boop.
like sound robotic, or what do you mean?
Do I sound robotic?
Yeah.
Oh, I do sound robotic.
Oh.
I mean, I have perfect connection. It's probably just weird sounding VR headset in Discord.
Oh. Okay. Wait. Now, how about now?
Uh,
Ah, gotta love tech issues.
what the fuck happened?
Want to know what? Okay, this is it's embarrassing.
Which is
So with after Sill, I was like, okay, I need to make sure that I get a proper Discord audio thing, and so I went out of my way to set up a Discord audio, and I did it while like we were up like I don't know playing Fortnite or something, and
hmm
I forgot I did that, and I turned on desktop audio capture, so you had double audio for a minute.
Oh, I see.
I
Like
remembered I needed to do it.
you know, I'm excited for Ultron to come out in Marvel Rivals 100% when I see that with his buddy Ultron.
I think it's crazy that he isn't he going to be a healer.
He's gonna be a healer, yeah. That's the funny thing. It's so funny that Reed Richards to me is not a tank. It's still weird to me about that.
You know what I don't know. He doesn't really make sense to me as a tank, to be honest. Like
In
the
my head, in my head, I think he makes more sense as a tank because since one of his abilities is literally absorb damage and then shoot it back at the people, like that feels like a tank thing to me.
you know, I guess fair. Hmm. Fair enough. I heard a lot of people are actually really hoping that Laura Kinney or X-23 Wolverine gets added and that she's a tank. So we have DPS Wolverine and tank Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, like I said, Reed as a tank doesn't make a lot of sense to me. He makes a lot more sense as like to me as but then I'm going off of comics, to be fair. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's weird how it's both like it has to, in a way, it has to both take the comic and it also has to take the movie into effect. I feel like to make some of these characters work, at least in
no,
my head.
fair. Actually, you know what I would have put as tank?
Who?
Invisible Woman. Because she's a tank in the same way that Doctor Strange would be a tank. You know?
God. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can kind of see it.
She makes
But,
impenetrable invisible shields.
yeah, okay, maybe maybe you are right on that. Also, hello, Lakota. Welcome in, Mac, and welcome in my IRL friend, God Howard, and also hello, Raffle,
Thank you for the
saying hello
follow,
to her.
Rick Sager. I really appreciate it. Welcome to Celvion Legion. I hope you have a cell of a time. But yeah, so how how you doing?
I mean, I'm doing pretty fine. As I said, I'm kind of, or at least I'm still like in the thought of Marvel Rivals, but at the same actually, speaking of Marvel Rivals,
Yeah.
when we were talking about Reed Richards, I played him the other day. All right. First off, I want to iterate. I hate Reed Richards, but oh my god, he is fun to play in Marvel Rivals. He's
He's
on a he's so much fun.
he's a
I hate
terrible
it.
person just as a character.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I'm like, I hate Reed Richards, but I like how he plays in the game.
Did you know he's literally the character Rick Sanchez is majoritively based on from like Rick and Morty?
Yeah, yeah. I believe he did tell me about that.
Like,
I believe it was one of the times we chatted about Reed Richards because I remember I think it was after the Reed Richards conversation I had about fucking hating him in the game.
yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Do you actually know about that? Do you actually know when why I hated like Reed Richards in the
Actually,
game, right?
actually, no. Why?
So I was playing Ultimate Alliance, and in Ultimate Alliance, I remember one of the issues. So there's like these like comic maps as they call them. I don't
Right.
know their specific name, but I'm assuming they're called I think they're called comic maps. But essentially, it's like a one character challenge where you have to go through from like the start to end in a time limit without dying with one character.
Right.
I was like, and usually the character that you play is like a base level character that you have in there. I didn't play Mr. Fantastic at all. And so he was level 1 and I was like, "All right, I want to do this like maybe a couple times, get him to level up and then I'll go on through and see if that's easier."
Right.
Little did I know that did absolutely fucking nothing cuz I don't like his abilities and I don't like how he fights. And especially with the characters that he's fighting, it's like they deal so much knockback that he just can't handle that. And due to that, I got so pissed at it that I was just like, I fucking hate Reed Richards, and I tossed him to the side and continued playing and continued streaming the game. But funny enough, when I got into that call with you, talking about about Marvel Ultimate Alliance, and we were like I said like I didn't like Reed Richards, and you told me about all the shit he did. I was like, okay, I have an actual good reason to not like Reed Richards now.
Yeah.
Cole was
No.
having a skill issue. I was not having a skill issue, chat. All right, that fucking map's hard. I see you up there. All right.
But yeah, I like quick cliff notes. Reed Richards is not that good of a character, despite being a good guy. Like, he invents all these things, and he literally takes money from companies to not release any of his big inventions. And one of his inventions included a cure for cancer. Yeah, he just took medical money from like the like pharmaceutical industry or whatever to not release a cure for cancer, and that's canon.
I feel like one thing I was thinking about this earlier before we started, but I feel like one thing we never chat about, like
Yeah,
between us, is we both like how much like do we both really like comics or how detailed we are into like comics. I
yeah,
feel like we've always kind of like semi connected with like Marvel stuff and like that, but we never really like talked about like the real like nitty gritty details. Because since
yeah,
I know for me growing up, I never really read comics. I was always like specifically in the games and specifically into the movies, but
well,
I still
yeah,
like
yeah.
learned some of the stuff with the comics. I feel like we just never really chatted about like actual comics before.
Like I am always game. Literally, last stream I ranted forever about Marvel comics, like over an hour.
Yeah, I think I don't think I've as I said, I never really read many Marvel comics. I remember the only comic I actually ever actively bought, it was a Spider-Man 2099. It was a Spider-Man 2099 comic. I think it was like I think it was the first one because I remember like getting it, and I remember one of the things I was super scared about was like taking it out the thing and like ripping it. So I remember like anytime I read it, I would take it out, read it like real quick, and then I would put it like right back into the packet or the little like sleeve thing that it had, and just never touch it, and just like leave it there
So
because I
wait,
was so scared of like ripping it.
so is it a number one, like a first issue of a run?
I think it is I believe it is a number one. I don't remember. I know it's like a newer. I think it's like a newer version of 29, or like a. I
Because
think it was a newer comic of 2099,
he's
but it
had
was like it was the first edition.
he's had 3 runs that I'm aware of. He's got one in the middle of the 2000, one in the 90s, and then he had the one that was like 2015, where, and the 2015 is the one where he's in the white and pink suit, where he's like stuck in the present for some reason, and he's like high tech white and pink instead of the black and red. Or, I mean, the blue and red.
Yeah, I'm trying. I think the one that I think it's either I got the 2015 one because it's, but I don't remember the pink suit. So it might be the early 2000s one. I know it looked like a newer comic. That's what I
Okay.
remember from it.
That's interesting to me. I have a bunch of I've got a bunch of old comics because I ended up finding one of the older siblings' collections of old Marvel comics. So I have a bunch of like 90s Wolverine comics and stuff just around.
Hmm. Also, if you ever see me like randomly cut out mid sentence, or if you see me like freeze in place for a second, there's a chance that my headset can disconnect. So just do take that in mind. So at least you're not like, wait, what happened? What happened to you? Is the stream okay? No, it's just my headset disconnecting from my computer.
All right, well,
Yeah.
no worries. I will just entertain chat for a bit.
I mean, it's like it should be like only like a few, like maybe like 10ish seconds for me to get back in, but like still, I just want to like point that out if it happens, because it's then like it will reset my character position, and then like it'll throw me like somewhere random, thinking like I've completely lost my tracking.
But tossing back to the comics thing, that's actually kind of funny that you're like, we should talk about comics more. I'm like, you know, this is an idea I actually had for like a stream, and I think might be
What
fun to have you on for maybe.
would it be? Just like a chat about just comics in general,
Well, yes,
or
but
like a knowledge
specifically,
test?
yes, but also specifically, I just want to share with people and have like some back and forth reaction on some of the most insane. Like, I complain all the time about like actual comics because if you are not a fan of the big characters, you know, your Spider-Mans, your Wolverines, whatever, right? So many
Mm-hmm.
of the times your story will get like 75% done and then just be dropped for like 5 years, and then they'll just move on like your story wasn't left on a cliffhanger. And there's so many characters that if you try to like read their Wikipedia, it's like insane. It feels like you're having like an episode.
Didn't they do that? Didn't they do that to Spider-Man a lot? Or am I thinking of like a different hero or in New York? Because I thought they did that to like Ultimate Spider-Man a lot,
I mean, they
or at
probably
least I thought they did.
I mean, it depends on the Spider-Man probably.
Oh wait,
Spider
no, wait, no. I'm thinking of the actual Marvel shows. Because since I
ah,
recently watched the video about like the Marvel Spider-Man shows, like the one of the most perfect Marvel Spider-Man shows was the Spectacular Spider-Man. And because since
spectacular, spectacular
God, I love
Spider-Man.
that show. I love that show so much.
That
But
is a really good one.
I remember one of the things was I think the Disney XD Spider-Man, like I think it was just called Marvel's Spider-Man, if I remember correctly. But I remember I remember like the video kind of like pointed out just like it kind of like went on and then it stopped. And then like the next Spider-Man show came out, which was like Disney, I think Disney's version of oh my God, I forgot what it was called. I think it was just called Spider-Man again. But I remember in that one, it also points out that it's like it kind of took place in the same universe of the Disney XD Spider-Man, but it's also not the same universe as they point out, because since like I think the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of popped in,
Are,
The Marvel Avengers
are
like
you
also like popped in.
are you talking Ultimate Spider-Man
Uh,
with
I was
Drake
supposed to
Bell?
talk about I was just more so just talking about I don't think I was talking about Ultimates. I know that I think that comic tried taking influence from Ultimate Spider-Man, but it didn't. I think it was like still went in on its own thing. Because I think if I'm like, oh my god, I'm trying to remember, but it was like a video I found on YouTube. It's a really good video. Because this dude kind of like been reviewing all the Spider-Man shows, and he's kind of been like he's been just trying to figure out like what is like one of the best Spider-Man shows, and I believe like in his opinion one of the best ones is like the Spectacular Spider-Man show. That one was a really good one. Which also even then in general that was a really good show.
I really like that one. Like,
Yeah,
Spectacular was really good. 90s Spider-Man was way better than it had any right being.
I liked 90s. I liked 90s Spider-Man. God, I think one of the because since I also remember I grew up with I actually did grow up watching VHSs of some shows, and I think I actually had the VHS of the 90s Spider-Man. And it's weird how there's only one scene that's vivid in my head because I don't know if it was just the VHS or it was my player or if it was like a combination of both. But I remember it was just a scene of him walking down the hallway, and it would cut to him like being behind, still walking down the hallway, and it would cut back to that side shot of him walking down the hallway, and did it like 5 times in a row to
Oh,
build amp.
yeah. Sometimes it was to set up commercial breaks too. So he'd walk down a like, I do remember that happening if you watched it like on like Disney Plus. Sometimes he'll walk down a hallway and then he'll walk down a hallway from another angle and then it'll have a weird cut. And then he'll do it again from like in reverse and you're like, "Oh, there was a commercial break there, huh?"
Yeah, at the time I didn't realize it was like a because since I didn't realize, I thought it was just like perfectly just like cut and made perfect for the VHS. Because since I was so used to like to move, because I'm also so used to like movies at the time, just like being no cuts with the DV, with it. I didn't. There wasn't no fade to blacks or anything like that. So I was super used to just everything being a one thing. Especially like when I had my VHS player and my DVD player.
Yeah. Like I grew
But
up with like a lot of just like having TV because my parents are still obsessed with having like live TV. So like
Mhm.
I grew up just throwing on reruns. So I've watched a lot of TV that's just before my time because it was just like playing on like Disney 4 or something. Nicktoons. You remember Nicktoons?
I
Probably
remember
not.
Nicktoons.
Oh
God,
yeah.
I remember watching that all the time. I think I moved over to Nicktoons because since I think if I remember correctly, I think Cartoon Network at the time was putting in a bunch of shows that I like. They were canceling a bunch of other shows, and I just wasn't a fan of some of their shows that they had. Because I think that was also when
Yeah.
Adventure Time stopped being episodic. I think regular shows stopped being episodic, and I remember Clarence was there. I think Chowder wasn't there anymore, and I think there was some other show that was coming in that I wasn't interested in.
Yeah, I
But
feel you.
I stopped. Yeah, but ever since then, I just stopped watching Cartoon Network because since I wasn't it's one of the things growing up that I realized that I did, and I do want to like go back and like maybe watch Adventure Time again, or maybe watch like regular show again. But one of the things I remember hating is that I remember there was a time where everything was episodic. There wasn't any continuity on anything. But then I don't know who came in or don't know what changing point it was, but for some reason the episodes started becoming story driven and like you needed to watch this episode, then this episode, then this episode to watch it instead of episodic.
Do you know why they did that?
I did not know.
It was because they had to build up a suitable buffer for reruns to not lose out to stuff like Cough Cough Teen Titans Go. Cough Cough. So filler episode or not filler episodes, more episodic episodes are way easier on the network for something like reruns and like just putting random crap out where you don't have to watch, you know what I mean? But the thing
Yeah.
is that they also used it to set up world building. So essentially they just committed to being like, all right, we're just going to have non-consequential stuff for a year or two and then we'll make it consequential later.
hmm Yeah. I just I just know, like, I remember this is still, like, the beginning of it, of Adventure Time and beginning of regular show, like, I remember beginning of those 2, they were just purely episodic, they were not story driven at all, and that's what I remember, like,
Yeah.
clear as day, but I don't know, like, cause I just know it went from episodic then to story driven. And I'm still, like, trying to process in my brain, like, what pushed the story-driven stuff. Because I remember one of the shows, funny enough, I also watched a video about this. Chowder, actually. Chowder was purely episodic, and did you know that the creator wanted to go more into the relationship of, like, Chowder and, Panini at all?
I did not actually. That's interesting.
Yeah, he really wanted to get more into, like, developing their characters and stuff, and I think even wanted he even wanted a show where it was it was like Chowder, but everyone was, like, grown up. I think he wanted, like, a season of that, like, straight of them, like of them all being grown up and all that, and, like, Chowder being, like, taking place of the chef and him having an apprentice now.
That's really
But,
interesting.
yeah, it was super interesting, but I think because since he was coming up onto the end and they realized he wasn't gonna get a rerun, I remember he, like, rushed that final episode of them being all grown up.
Fair. I mean, if it was supposed to be a season, I mean,
Yeah.
but
He just took all of it and then just, like, smashed it into, like, one episode, and then that's kinda what he did.
hilariously enough, that just flashed me back to when I was a kid, and the reason I started watching anime originally in like second grade was because I was so tired of my literal brain being like, how is SpongeBob having this problem? He had a magical remote control in the last episode, and getting upset about that. And then I'm like, ooh, Dragon Ball Z or
I think
Pokemon or whatever
I
I
never had
watched
the
at the
issue with it.
first.
I think I never had the issue with it because since at the time, I never. Because it's weird how growing up, I never retained the stories of so many shows or movies at all. Like, I don't remember stories or movies at all. Like, I think Madagascar, I don't remember the story of that. I remember watching Kung Fu Panda again, and I never understood when I first watched it the first time, I never understood the story. I just liked it. Ooh, cool visuals, and that's kinda what, like, drilled into my head, I remember.
Huh.
Like,
That's
that's how it was for me growing up. Like, I just never retained the show's, like, story or plot. But now, like, rewatching some of this stuff, I'm like, I I get it now. I kinda get it a bit more, and it's entertaining in a way to, like, finally kinda get it.
honestly, at least you get to enjoy things in a different way by like going back and revisiting it. That's kind of cool though. Like,
Yeah.
I remember stuff too
It
well. I can't do that.
I mean, it's like you say revisiting, but it's kinda at the same time, like, it's kinda more I'm, like, experiencing it again, even though I've already experienced it before, if that kinda makes sense.
Yeah. What it makes me think of is those like, you know, those like games or whatever where they're like, I lost my memory. Go do these things to remember it all. And then you go do it and then you're like, oh yeah. But it's also kind of like you're saying it for the first time still. But you, the player, is saying it for the first time. But for the character, it's like, and you're kind of in the same moment, but it's like a little bit different. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But yeah, just like this is kind of familiar. I get this.
Yeah, I just know, like, for me, it was kinda, like, always like that, and it never was an in between. Like, I'm trying to remember, like, if there was anything as a kid that I remember, like, retain
Um. Anyway, so I actually had that experience with the anime Zoids. Like I remember seeing it. I've seen the giant lion robots, and but then like I tried reading the plot synopsis on like Wikipedia once because I'm like, this show's familiar. Because it was when I was making out my anime list originally, and I'm like, what shows have I watched And yeah, Zoids. Did not remember anything about that. It's like Gundam, but with everyone rides in other animals as robots and not humans. All the big famous ones are like tigers or cats. Are you back, Pokey?
Yeah, I should be back. I'm just trying to get my audio to make you loud again.
Oh, okay. I
Can you speak?
was.
All right. I guess I have to do it this way because since I don't know why, I have to connect you into my heads into like Discord's headset speakers thing, which is
Eh,
weird, but
no
whatever.
worries.
I mean, everything's a little not as loud anymore, but whatever.
But yeah, no. Zoids are like Gundams, and like they sold model kits where you build them and stuff too. They were really cool. But I didn't remember anything about them other than like I remember I used to see a giant cat robot on TV when I watched Pokemon. What was that guy? I'm pretty sure that was an anime. Google everything that was on that station that I watched Pokemon on. Ah, Zoids. Don't remember that. Other than the tiger robot. And at some point, I'm gonna go back and watch it again and be like, wow, tiger robots. All right.
I actually do not know what happened to my audio. Like it outright just like it killed itself. I guess I'll just
Uh,
do it straight into my headset.
all right. Are you good?
I'm trying to get it a bit better. Hang on.
I will keep vamping. Uh, but yeah. Actually, honestly, Zoids would be kind of a fun thing to try to get into. I feel like I'd be more familiar with that than Gunpla because I have technically watched Zoids, yet I have never watched Kenny Gundam. So if I maybe that would be a better direction to go in if I wanted to do like a hand
Oh,
cam making stuff stream. Um,
all right. Yeah. This is the best I'm gonna get it. I guess.
yeah.
Sorry for disconnect or oddly disconnecting. It was weird how my audio did that to me. Like entirely, it stopped like working on my headset for some reason. Like the speakers mirroring to my headset just like stopped working at all, and I was wondering why the fuck it happened.
Not fair. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know why, but I guess it just happens.
But what were we talking about? Shows that you kind of remember and getting to come back to them.
Oh wow. You want what's funny? I just fixed it.
Oh, dope.
I guess it just had to need another restart. Either way. All right. Well, either way, I should be fine, better now.
All right.
Alright,
Um.
actually, I'm gonna leave it at that. Fuck it.
So,
I'm like having like my monitor here so you can see your stream, cameras here, and all that. So if you also see me staring up, I'm like staring at your chat. So just want to point that out now.
how's Pokey in VR working? It's mostly working okay, minus our just barely happened audio issues that weren't there when we were testing it. It's actually the VR thing actually works really well. Actually, way better than I thought it was going to. I think
I
it looks
mean,
pretty good too. And
yeah, I think it's been working pretty fine. I just think one of my issues is that it's just my
why?
headset being or my link cable being just iffy rather than anything.
Oh, dude, I trust me. I know. Do you remember when I went on what the puck a puck show?
I don't think I remember that now.
I had a full game crash on my where like I had to like try to quickly like reload it all because my cord janked around on my old Oculus.
Oh,
And so just like welcome Celvion. Hi everybody. Just collapse into a ball and floating in the air.
Yeah, my link cable, for some reason, it random. I think it might just be the power from my link cable, or like from my
Yeah,
computer's USB to the link cable. That's what I'm thinking it is. But at the same time, it's also a $10 link cable, and that it because and also, you wanna know another thing I find super weird about my headset as well, that,
sure.
like, I don't know why it disconnects? Apparently, my headset can disconnect if it loses internet, even though it is directly wired in and it is not using AirLink.
I hate that that sounds correct. Like I'm like, yeah, I think it did have that issue, didn't it?
Well, I don't understand, like, going into, like, a little tech thing, I wanna first point out, like, why can't I lose connection from my computer if it's directly linked in and I am not using any internet access on it? I'm only directly like, the only thing that's using internet is my laptop, not the headset. Like,
I'm
maybe this is using, some weird kinda thing to, like, track my hands and stuff and my buttons, but it
I
shouldn't disconnect me outright, I
think it
think,
might
if
be
the headset loses.
like I'm not sure. I think it might actually have some all like the Oculus might actually have some always on features.
Probably. I still think, like, if I'm doing PC VR, it shouldn't disconnect. At least it's me.
I
And I know
agree.
another reason why. And also, I mean, this could also just be the link cable. But one of my issues with the link cable, or at least especially with their link cable, is that why is their link cable $80? Why is it $80 to get a USB-C to a USB-A to your computer?
I mean, I
And it's like
paid
$60.
$50, but I bought it in a bundle with the rest of my Oculus. So
No. Mine is $10, but it's still, like, I want to know, like, what stops the like, why did they make it so high priced? Like, I remember even having this conversation on my own stream, I don't wanna hear, like, "It's the best suited for your Oculus for the highest transfer speeds." Any USB cable can have that higher transfer speeds. It's better suited because because it's, like, USB 3, any USB can be USB 3. It make I need, like, an absolute valid reason other than better data speeds, like, it's like, I don't wanna fucking hear
well, I
better,
mean,
like, battery consumption. I don't wanna fucking hear that. It's just
why
like
does the phone charger that come with your phone charge things faster or
uh,
last longer? Like it's the same sort of
it
question, really.
it's the same sorta question, and it's also another thing where, like, I almost had a thing for that, like, your thing is set up with that, but I don't think that changes all that much. Because since even with oh, hang on. Uh, good night.
Maybe
Saying
that's
goodnight
the
to my
difference.
parents.
Maybe that's like the difference between like maybe it's just like the difference between like 5 and 10% or something. Like it's like it seems like it would be nothing, but it kind of is a little bit more than you'd think it would be.
I don't know. I don't think it would be, because since it it doesn't feel that different. Like, unless, like, your device has, and this would be a fucking wild assumption, but if your device has a setting inside of it where, depending on the type of cable that your thing uses at all, like, depending on the type, like, if it's, like, branded as a certain one, which I don't know how they would track that, it would, like, say that it's, like, fast charging or charging faster, but that would be relatively stupid, and I think that would be extremely hard to program, especially from going from software to hardware to an actual detecting what kind of hardware it is.
I
And
mean, I don't put
especially
it
with,
past him.
um and especially one of the things I think would be difficult is, how would a piece of cable carry data? Like, how would it individually carry data saying, "This is what this cable can do. This is what this cable is." usually a lot of the cables are just
I mean,
like it's dependent on what it can do because it's like maybe like what's inside of it, like coppering and wiring and how that works and
could be
how
they
it's
just
like
have
stringed up
like
together.
an extra pin or something, and when that makes contact, it's not needed. It's like, oh, we charge extra fast now, or something like that in
That's
the cord. And it's just
that
like
too.
a purely mechanical, like, aha, we put this pin in this spot, but the generic one doesn't put this pin here, so it will not make contact to generics or whatever.
I don't know. It would. I think it would be. It feels somewhat stupid. It at least to me, it feels dumb because since you're upcharging a cable that with effectively no proof to me, like you're saying it's better for my devices, even though like anything can be like better for my devices. Like
Yeah,
one of the things like my phone is like my phone usually can charge up to or always charges fast cuz and it's not using the cable that it came with it. It's also using a proprietary cube that I found. And funny enough, I found this cube on the side on a random fucking sidewalk and it still somehow really works well. And I don't know how.
fair
Right?
enough.
Which also, I don't want to get a weird eye, but one of those things that I do a lot, I like like if I see a piece of tech that I think would work perfectly fine, I'll pick it up and I randomly on the sidewalk, like I would pick it up and I'm like I'll test it later, see if it works.
You know what? I've done
Like
that too.
I've done it so many times.
I
Like
have.
I actively remember, like, the other day, as I said, like, I found this cube. I found it on the sidewalk. I picked it up. I was like, I'll test this out. I plugged it in, tested both things. It was like, this works perfectly fine. Who the fuck dropped this?
I have a 10-gallon like tub, and it is mostly full of just like random wires and stuff that I'm like, I could use this for something else. Or, that I threw away, or I found this somewhere. And it's just a
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah,
random chords. Need to go through that
yeah.
at some point.
I feel like I go through a bunch of like different like for a bunch through like a bunch of different cables and stuff. Like, or at least I know one of the cables I need to replace. I definitely need to replace my regular phone cable that I use, like the one to charge it and stuff. I need to replace that because I think it's lacking. It's I think it's been like 2 years since I've had it, and it's kind of like it's finally starting to kick the bucket. It's like kicking the bucket a little bit. I think, at least
Yeah.
in my mind.
I really like my iPhone, but I think one of the worst things about iPhone is that the cord is like no matter what level of cord you get, it is falling apart in like a year or two. Like get a high end cord, cord's breaking. Get a low end cord, cord is breaking. And it's just like you just don't get to win, and they all seem to last the same amount of time. Even if you do like the fabric ones.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I mean, I know one of the things that I think my cable. I mean, I know one of the I think no one of the reasons why it's been like failing for me is because since anytime it so I have like a few pocket I have like a few so my picture my backpack like this. So my backpack or like the one that's like up against my back, that is where I place my laptop. So that's
Right.
like where the laptop slider is, and that's where I place my charger. So zip that up, and then at the top of the bag, there's a small zipper that's in between another like big compartment. But so I open that up, and it's like a bunch of like fabric in there. But that's where I store my charger. And also, since it's at the top of my bag, anytime it rains, essentially rain like will go right in. Like I want to say, go right into that pocket essentially, because since I don't think the zippers aren't gonna keep water out of anything.
Yeah.
At least I don't believe so. So because of that, it kind of is just like it's going into it's going into the bag and it's like touching all the stuff that's in there, which usually it's just like sometimes I keep my portable chargers in there, but most of the stuff that I keep in there is like my mouse, which I probably should take that out of there. I do not want to corrode that thing. I need so I'm probably gonna throw that in another spot. But
That honestly
my
made me think of I have a backpack that I got, and I don't remember how long ago I got it, but fairly recently. And it's got a laptop pouch in the center, not on like the back against like your back. And they
oh
straight up have a headphone jack like on the backpack, and they expect you to wire your headphones through your backpack into your laptop that'll be playing music in your backpack while you go about doing things. And
I mean, it's that's a little surprising. I mean, maybe it could be a tablet. I don't know. That's like far fetched a little.
but the thing connects to what is literally labeled as the laptop pouch with a thing to place your laptop in specifically. They're like labeled pouches inside of the pouch for your laptop and its charger and its like an accessories. And it's just the weirdest backpack I own.
Oh no! I didn't mean to press my back button. No.
Pokey will not
There we go.
stand for this. Or I mean, well, no, anyway. But yeah, Pokey's in VR. I needed to test VR, so I made Pokey do VR to test VR.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also, I mean, we're also doing a green screen type of thing. I mean, here, do you mind if I turn off the green screen for like just a few seconds?
Oh yeah, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm also doing a green screen thing, so at least to make it more like I'm sitting in the chair in there, even though this would probably look terrible on Selvion's end, but
It
at least
was either
I,
this
I
or we
mean
put you on a little monitor like you're video calling into the show.
yeah, that could also work. I mean, it is preferably what you want to try. I mean, maybe next time you test someone in VR, maybe you can try that out and see how you like it.
Honestly, maybe yeah, maybe the video call effect might look a little bit better for VR people. I'm not sure. I kind of like this, honestly. I think this has been turning
Like,
out surprisingly well.
it's weird how I like it, but I think one of my issues, like this is just like something that I'm noticing, and I think I might have an issue with. Is just like the outer like rims of my body are like slowly like fading away into nothingness, essentially.
I
And like
fair.
due to the green screen, and that's just me. And also another thing, I kind of see it in my hair. I can kind of see it like in the back of my hair. You can kind of see, but that's just a me thing. And then the last thing is like you can barely see like my hagode a hago. I hate that I can't pronounce it.
You're hoagie.
Agane,
You're a
Agane?
hoagie.
My ahogi. There we go. All right. Your fans been dying to know when you're coming back. Who's are you saying you're my fan, Sai? Is that who you're saying? I want you to answer me, Sai.
I'm doing a thing I should have done before. Real quick.
All right.
And
Oh yeah, if you guys have any other
how do
additional
I pin that?
questions, Celvion just posted a doc in here, but if you have any other additional questions, please throw them on in. And honestly, I want to challenge y'all to see who can make the most unique question in a way. What are you hearing my like computer fans? Is that what you're hearing?
I can't hear them. No, what I'm trying to
I was
do is
about
I'm trying to pin the message.
There you go.
There we go. So now if anyone wants to ask you a question, it'll be a little bit more straightforward.
Yeah. I just wanna hear if you guys have some of them what are the more unique questions you guys can ask me specifically. All right. And here, to give a quick summary from at least what I've heard. All right, I've already heard things about what is my design based off of, and how's my streaming life been. All right, and also I have also got a little bit of not safe for work questions. So that's why I want to challenge y'all if if you guys can send us some unique questions so that I have probably never heard in my life kind of thing. That's what I want to
Yeah. Uh yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
good contribution, Sal. Yeah. So you've only recently started getting into like VR and actually being able to do VR, not
Yeah,
just play in VR chat.
I've only recently started doing it, and I think it's weird how I've been both really liking it, but I think one of my like definitely it's pushed me to the thought that I think if I want to do VR streams, I want my headset to be more dedicated PC, you know? Like that's
Yeah,
what I want to do. I don't mind like the Quest link to my thing, but I want a more dedicated PC experience because since I know one of my things, especially with even this headset that I'm even struggling with,
it's because you're
is
on the
that
laptop, right?
yeah, I mean it is because since I'm on a laptop, but it like here's the thing though, like with the headset though, and it might just be the data transfers from the link cable to my laptop and how much power is getting siphoned into that link cable. I mean, also then again, another thing that's kind of that I probably shouldn't have done is probably should have not gone a 20-foot cord, but I digress. But but one of the
Yeah,
issues that I always run into is that I'm always constantly running into frame drops, and I'm constantly running into like a certain like cap of frame rate. All right,
yeah,
Blarg, you want another question? You got it. Thanks, Blarg. Thank you, my friend. But still, but one of the issues that I'm always running into is that I mean, like the most that this headset can run is, at least from what I've seen, is 40 frames.
right.
Like, uh, like I've only ever seen this headset hit 40 frames with the link, and I'm I'm thinking it's just my laptop not being able to output that much into the headset to make it run faster. I mean, I would love to get a tower one day or an actual dedicated desktop,
Yeah,
but it's still like I think if I had a more PC focus, like a PC related headset to connect to my laptop, I think I would be running more than just 40 frames, at least personally. Because also another thing with Quest is that you have to run another program. You have to run another program, and then that would make the PCVR link.
yeah,
So like if you guys are doing Quest, or whoever does know Quest, but whoever doesn't, um, the way how it works is that you go onto your Quest, you connect your headset to your device, and then you like boot up the link through PC, and it'll take you into this like Quest in this Quest like world where essentially it's just this is saying like computer basically saying like, hey, this is this is like you're in your computer with your headset, but not entire. Like you're in the computer with your headset essentially, and it's kind of like I want to say it feels like a virtual desktop. It entirely feels like a virtual desktop, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a virtual desktop because it feels like I'm in the computer rather than not. I don't know how to describe it, but
honestly surprised your issue isn't more with the disconnects, because that was my big issue with the Oculus before I got my Index, was that all the disconnects that were constantly happening trying to do stuff on Oculus. It's just like embarrassing almost, especially
I it's
streaming.
weird how I don't mind it, but it's like it's such like a quick click like like 1 2 clicks to get back in. And that's why it's like it doesn't bother me, but it is also another issue. Like I one of the things I don't like is also like I could be like I mean I you guys also just saw it like a little bit ago, but I'm mid sentence and my headset disconnects.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know what the time frame of it is because it feels like it's always after a certain amount of time. Or usually sometimes like I move my cable a little bit too much and then like disconnects maybe like 20 minutes later. That is also another issue. And I kind of don't like it. but it's something that I've kind of just adapted because since that's what I have and that's what I kind of can use. Like still, I don't mind that, but it's still like it's such a minor inconvenience. I think I'm more annoyed with just how how it runs. How it runs on my computer for some reason. Or runs from my computer and then transfers it into my headset. That's what I think I'm more annoyed about.
That makes sense.
Cause
Honestly,
since like, cause I could go on VR chat right now on desktop, and I would be perfectly fucking fine. Like, I can run that shit 80 frame like, at least for me, I set it at 80 frames, but I can run that shit 80 frames, smoothing. I can set it on high, 80 frames, no problems at all. But the second I get on my headset, I have to put everything on low. I have to put everything, like, significantly lower, so at least then it doesn't, basically make it so I'm running around like some like a 8-bit kind of program that's like took in stop motion. Like,
right, right.
but that's still just my thing.
I mean, that's
I
fair.
would yeah. I just like to summarize it. I mean, I probably also repeated myself a lot, but to make it easier, my only issues with the headset or the VR stuff is that VR chat, it runs significantly, and it could also just be VR chat, but VR chat runs significantly poorer than I usually want it to run, and and then it's just maybe sometimes it disconnects, and that's really it. That's like my only two issues, like the
Yeah,
two kind of glaring issues, but one way more than the other.
I I do have a random question. Can
hmm
you see increases in like video quality past 720?
Can I see differences in video quality from 720 to like 1080 and then
Yeah, and
144 and
on
etc.
so on, because I can't. They all look after 720 on. It all looks the same basically.
I 100%. I can definitely see the difference. Because since one of the other things that I can kind of like really notice is quality and bitrate. That's also been one of the things that I've also like kind of like my eyes have been trained on. And it's funny. You want to know the funny way how that developed actually?
Hmm.
The DS Internet browser.
Oh
I
yeah.
I when I looked up stuff on the DS Internet browser, we're not gonna talk about what I looked up, all right? But
All right.
but yeah, on a serious note, uh, using that, I was always able to like see lower quality images really easily, and it's kind of like trained my eye to kind of like to pick that up. And then again, growing up, I had beyond 2020 vision. So I had like better vision than 2020,
Right.
and so at least growing up now, like I'm at least kind of losing 20. I'm losing it, but it's still like really good eyesight. I
I
don't know,
mean,
but
everyone's eyesight goes slowly worse. I think hearing is more prevalent for most people. Like you go from even just from being like a teenager to like somewhere in your mid 20s, you stop being able to hear mosquito sounds in that like frequency range.
yeah, because since I think with age, like frequencies get lower, but I know I think I can't see. I know I can see the difference between 720 and 1080, but I can't see anything different from 1080 or like 1080 to like 144 or 4K. I can't see the difference between those. Like
Okay.
I can barely tell that difference. I can tell the difference between 720 and 1080 because since 1080 feels more 1080 feels more like clearer when I see it. But then again, I think I said this before, it comes up to bitrate essentially. Like if the bitrate significantly higher than you want it to be. Is it super high? Is it shitty? Et cetera, et cetera. Like that's kind of what you kind of want to focus on, and that's
That's
kind of what
fair.
I'm trying to focus on. I've been trying to focus more on like the bit rate for stuff, and
Hmm.
I've been kind of wanting just a clearer image. Unless it's a massive screen, it's hard to tell. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that.
The thing that I think is funny is like you ever going back and watch like old videos that used to be clear and then you go watch them and they're like it's like it's like 90 frames per second and that was okay back in the day and you watched this in like 5th grade and when you were in 5th grade it was like clear as day and now it's like the blurriest thing ever. You're like, what am I looking at?
Yeah, I think I've come into that. I know. Funny enough, I kind of had that treatment with 30 frames to 60 frames and onwards. Like I have, oh my god, I have never like I've always realized because I remember for the longest time I think I'm one of the biggest people or one of the people who can deal with really low frame rates. 'Cause it's, one of the games that I did on significantly lower frames, it was on my old laptop, as I named it, Fee,
Mhm.
like Fee from, like, Zelda, uh, but
Don't you name all
so
of your devices after Zelda sidekicks?
yes, I have, actually. Currently, I am on Tattle.
Ah, Tattle. Good choice.
Yeah,
Would you
it's also
include Pale from Awesome Majora's Mask, even though she's not your actual partner for that?
no, I've only kind of I'm currently in going based off, in my head, timeline kind of things. Like because since it went from like Skyward Sword and then it goes to what was it? I forgot what's in. I
Minish
think there was
Cap.
something. That's what I missed. Okay, I skipped Minish Cap. But then again, I never played Minish Cap. Wait, I thought Minish Cap was in the adult timeline.
No,
But I
Minish
don't
Cap
know.
is the first one because it's like one of the first one, and supposedly it's like how the trend of the hero outfit gets formed and something something
Huh.
something. You there is a it kind of has to be like there because there is a direct sequel to it that's set after Twilight Princess. So
Okay, wait. So you're saying the timeline goes Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Twilight Princess.
Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight
Okay.
Princess, Four Swords Adventures, which
Okay.
which is
I
that
because I
somehow a
believe
direct sequel to Minish Cap, but not Four
all right.
Swords. That's in the Downfall timeline.
Alright. Yeah, that is okay. I knew you were going off I knew you were going off a different time. But so the way how I went from like Skyward Sword to Ocarina of Time and then to Majora's Mask. Because also then again, those are the two that I've played. I haven't played I haven't played Minish Cap at all, surprisingly. I really want to play Minish Cap. But
I like
ever
Minish
ever
Cap.
since ever since I kinda thought of Zelda Timeline, I've been naming my computers that stuff. And so I started with Fee, and I started with Fee, then I went with Navi, and then now I'm on Tattle.
I like.
And then I'm trying to think what would be my next one, but it's kind of it is like in a weird way, it's kind of funny how my computers have been with their names. All right, Fee Fee is still there. Like
Right,
Fee has was the first one, and it was decently powerful it was decently powerful for what I needed at the time. And then going after that, I went to Navi, which is significantly more powerful, but in the end, it got lost. AKA, to me, I lost it because since it blue screened and I couldn't use it anymore.
right. Like the end of
And then
Ocarina of Time.
yeah, and then Tattle came in place because since I was kind of in a search for a new computer at the time or something else that would help me out. And so that's where this laptop's currently in, and it's kind of really funny how those two computers kind of filled out their character with their name in a way, and it feels kind of funny.
Well,
It
by all
there's
means,
also
I think you
there's
have
also
three
oh,
options
sorry. Oh,
for a future computer. And I hope you
I'm
get a desktop in
think
the future, but
I'm thinking if I'm gonna get a desktop, I'm thinking I might go the route of I'm thinking of calling. I actually think I'm straight up might just call it Midna, honestly.
all right, that was one of the options I was going to give you. I was also going to say the King of Red Lions. If you got a really big like red computer, like a high end like gamer computer, and it was red or something, that'd be really funny.
Mhm. I've been sticking to games that I've known. So that means I mean, then again, the only other one that I can also go with that I'm thinking of is that I actually might go Zelda, because since Zelda was your companion
Bear tracks.
in Spirit Tracks. Yep.
I mean, in a certain
And
sense, she's kind of also in like the new ones, Breath of the Wild and Tears. Well, less Tears,
yeah,
but more Breath of the Wild, kind of.
yeah. Also, I haven't finished Tears, so just want to point that out now.
Oh,
I did get the Master Sword. I will point that out. I will also say that, but that's furthest I got for story stuff.
okay. I will not spoil it. Syl didn't beat it either. I'm the only one out of all of us who beat Tears of the Kingdom. And
Yeah,
Syl is like, you didn't do it properly. You didn't get every single light node and trial. And I'm like, they didn't matter though.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna do them all. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna do all the fucking Korok seeds again, because since I did that in Breath of the Wild, and I
Oh,
fucking hate them. I did that
trust
in
me,
Breath
they're
of the
not even
Wild.
they're less unique in Tears of the Kingdom. They don't even give you they give you like more than the majority of them are the same puzzles. Like it's not even like creative. It's hey, build something to take a Korok from here to here, but do it 50 times.
Yeah, no, funny enough, it's weird how I kind of like some of those, because since some of my favorites, I have clips on my stream of some of my favorite ones, because it was just like I fucking hate these Koroks, so I remember I would just attach rockets to them, and then I would just like swipe at the rockets and just send it off to like the stratosphere or just like into the horizon with the with the fucking with the rockets, which is one of the funny
I
things.
did that for a while. I just am like, you need to go over there. Rocket pointed that direction. Go. Maybe it'll work. Watch it
Yeah,
launch off in that vague direction. Oh, did it work?
I
Yes? Okay, I'll go over there and redeem it. No? Then I don't care enough.
I know one of my favorites that I've done, and this is a stupider time, but this is the first time that I saw some of the Koroks, or one of the Koroks. And I even remember, like, clipping it on my Switch, but it was the first time just like, "Okay, I should do this because it's also for the meme, but also fuck you." It was this one, like, "Oh, my friend is, like, over here, can you take me there?" And, like, the starting area in Breath of the Wild and how that's, like, completely, like, taken over with malice and all that, blah, 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 and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there was a Korok there, and he was also near the hole to go into the depth as well.
Yeah.
So 'cause of that, I'm just like, "Okay, I see this, I see him, I know what I'm gonna do." I picked him up, walked over to the depths hole, and then just dropped him, and I just slowly saw him fade out of existence into the depths, and it was one of the fucking funniest things ever seen. Oh, I loved it.
Pokey experience is evil.
Oh, it was one of my favorite fucking things. Um, but
You,
God, I
oh, go on.
God, we were going into a side tangent from like to to my computer frame rate to the Zelda thing.
I
But
mean, that's
I want to finish on
conversation.
the computer thought, because since I do want to finish that.
Right, right.
Yeah, no, I know. I feel like out of everyone in our friend group, I am one of the people who can really deal with lower frame rates. Because since on Fee on that laptop, it had an integrated graphics, so it couldn't. It basically essentially was set to not run anything that needed a graphics card, aka
Okay.
games, Roblox, like streaming, etc.
Didn't
But
even handle Roblox?
no, it did not handle Roblox.
That's kind of
But
funny. A
I
phone can handle Roblox.
but phones are now getting built in with like fucking like better fucking CPUs and like fucking the leading computers of back then. But going on,
Fair.
my my old laptop, I ran one of the games that I did on that, and I still remember it to this day because since it was also one of like me and Sill's like kind of favorite games to play. We played it with the James Variety, and it was Lunch Lady. We played Lunch Lady,
Yeah,
and
I
on there in London, I remember running that game on that laptop was dog shit because it was running at 15, at most 15 frames.
I do lunch lady with you
I
guys.
I don't think you have, but I ran that game at 15 frames, and as I said, a cap of 15 frames, and then I think like it was like an average of like 9 frames that I got from that laptop playing that game. So because of that, like I've kind of always adapted that I don't mind lower frame rates on things. Like if I know like my device is going to be shitty, or like if I have like a kind of like dog shit kind of like setup for something, like dog shit connection, like for example, like if I did this with Airlink, um I
Right.
know I'd be running significantly lower frames. But um but since I now know that like the most I'm gonna get with this is 40, I've kind of just adapted into my head that like if I drop down to like to 20 frames, like I can handle it, but it's not preferable. But
Okay.
and then like 15 like 10 like 15 frames I can handle because since as I said the whole lunch lady thing. But if it's like anything lower than that, I cannot handle it. But now since I've like kind of grown into like getting things with dedicated GPU or with an actual GPU now, like I'm glad that I've been running things significantly higher frames than I used to. Because since also the Switch being 30 frames, my old Xbox being 30 frames, especially with a lot of games, and then now since I have a Series X, most things run at 60 frames. Since I have my laptop now, I can run things at like 120 frames if I wanted to. But now it's just but it's weird how I came from just like the whole horizon of I can deal with low frame rates and all that shit. At least.
Okay. Okay, can I say a side thing that I think is kind of funny?
Sure.
Out of our friend group, you're probably one of the most tech savvy. Yet you were probably the one with the worst tech setup. And I think that that's really ironic.
Yeah, no. It's kind of really funny. It's kind of really funny because since I don't have a desk at all. Like funny enough, the most like before I actually got my mattress, my mattress or I what was it? What the fuck's it called? Oh, box spring. There we go.
Hmm.
Before I got my box spring, do you want to know how I set up my streams?
You have it on like a coffee table or something, and you sat on your bed on the floor?
So, alright, close. But so the way how I had it, if I wish I had like a pen or something to kind of like show it. But the way how I had it was so picture picture so you're like I'm sitting on my bed right now, and essentially in front of me is like the rest of my room,
Right.
and I have this little cube. This little cube is where I'll place my laptop on. And to the left, to like the front of my room, like on my left side, um, that's where like my TV is set up. That is where my Xbox is set up, Switch, etc. And so, essentially, I plug in my capture card into my laptop. It
Hmm.
will go onto the floor. and then the one HDMI would go up to the TV, and one HDMI to the to or at least the HDMI of the console into the capture card that's on the floor. And so my microphone would be sitting on my laptop, not on the keyboard, but like in front, like in a spot where
Yeah, yeah,
it's in
yeah.
front of the keyboard. Yeah, yeah. It would be setting up. It would sit right on that spot, and then I would sit on my bed looking into my camera, and it was real. It is real shit. Because since it was I don't have a desk, and even then, now, it's like it is better the way how it's set up. Because since I actually have, like, something to place my laptop on, I have something to place my microphone on, but it's still doing the wired thing of, like, I would wire my capture card into or my capture card into my computer, and then it's on the floor, and it's plugged into the TV and Xbox. And
Okay.
that's kinda how it is. It's real shit, and I don't as I said, I don't have a desk, and there was actually only a couple times I actually managed to stream with a desk, and I didn't mind those times, but at the same time, the only thing I could stream with was my Switch, and that was the only thing I had. I could only stream with my Switch and my capture and it wasn't entirely the best setup, but at the same time, I also had 2 monitors, actually.
Okay.
Like, I was like, God, it feels so nice to have. God, it felt so nice to stream with 2 monitors for, like, the first time in my fucking life, and, like, now I don't have 2 monitors, I only have 1.
Honestly, I really relate to that because I used to stream on a. When I started streaming, I was streaming on a 32-inch plasma screen TV as the only
Oh,
monitor for my computer. And
oh,
then
man.
I bought another monitor, and then I was dual monitoring a tiny normal sized monitor and a 32-inch plasma screen. And then then I finally got a deal and got 2 more monitors. So now I have a proper 3 monitor setup. But that little time frame when it was just like giant TV from like less than 2 feet away from my eyes and face.
Yeah, my TV is, like it's I don't know how big I should, like, describe it because it's, like here, let me, like, quickly take a look at it. It it's the size of it's, like, a little wider than your regular monitor, essentially. That's the size of the TV that I had. And so it's like just a perfect just think of it like a wide monitor kinda thing. That's essentially the size of it, but it wasn't like as high display as a monitor of that stature, of a wide monitor of that stature, essentially.
Okay. Uh
Praise the cube.
praise the cube. Without it there
Yeah.
would be no stream.
Here, I shall do I even out my real name right now, or do I
Don't.
or should it just be yeah. I'm like thinking
Come
because
on.
here, I just wanna say the cube thing the with that person right there, that's a IRL friend, and he knows my name, and we have an inside joke related to the cube. So, just wanna point that out right now.
Oh,
I'm not gonna tell you where from which game, but I'm just gonna say,
okay.
it
Anyway.
is, yeah, it is relating to that, that's why.
So, um, the origin of your name. How about there's a thing that I think maybe not everybody who is around anymore would know.
I feel like I tell this a lot, but I don't mind sharing. So, growing up, I was a big Nintendo fanboy. I mean, you can kinda tell from my name. Um, but
Hmm.
I was a big Nintendo fanboy, and I also never really I've always, was attached to my DS. The DS was, was my console, it was my fucking world. Nothing could, stop me from, not playing my DS when I had the chance to.
How
Like,
many times have you played DS or played like a handheld game of some sort in the shower? This is just a random thought since you said it went everywhere with you.
I never played it in the shower. I'll
Okay.
say that.
That's rookie
Like,
numbers.
but
0
like I always
amateur,
like it still it still resonates that I still play. I bring my DS with me everywhere because since
but
in
not the
my
shower.
actual work bag that I take to go to work with, I have my DS in there. I don't use it. It's just in there. And it's always in there and has never left its pocket. But
That's kind of nice though. Then you always have a thing to mess with if you ever get like stuck somewhere or something.
yeah, but so continuing on, at first, I remember I was a big. I mean, you could probably tell I was a Pokemon fan. I like Pokemon. One of my favorite Pokemon games, like, was playing, or at least before the one that gave me my name. One of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite Pokemon games was like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon and also Pokemon Platinum. I loved Platinum. It was such a good fucking game. Pokemon Platinum, Pokemon. I think it was Black and White, yeah, Pokemon Black and White. I think I played specifically White, if I remember correctly. I like Zekrom. Zekrom was fucking sick. But bef- but I was super big into Pokemon. But I remember when I first played the Legend of Zelda series, I played Spirit Tracks. And me also knowing me at the time, I wasn't like puzzle savvy. Like I never really understood like the concept of puzzles. And so because of that, like the furthest that I got into the game for years, like
Mm-hmm.
ever since we ever had the game, was it was it was behind the castle. So the way how Spirit Tracks works is that you wake up with like a tale of the hero, and then after that, the tale of the hero would then like your character would wake up from the tale of the hero, walk out, and then he has to take his train exam. And after he passes his train exam, he'll go get a certificate from Zelda. And then but during that like certificate ceremony, Zelda's just like, meet me up in my room, sneak around the guards, meet me up in my room. You do
Okay.
that. Zelda's like, I wanna get out of the castle. I wanna like explore the town. It would be really nice. So after you do that objective,
Okay.
you would like take her out on the train, and you would, or like after you like sneak out the castle, you take her out of the train. You would head towards the giant like pillar place that held all that kind of like held all the tracks together. And the big bad would show up, absolutely fucking decimate that tower. You would knock out. You would wake up, and you would find Spirit Zelda like wandering around the place. You would get the instrument of the game, and because of that, I think the game
Here
was
we
telling you
go.
like, "Oh, you can't."
Welcome to
Oh,
Taco Bell.
hello,
Hello,
Lore Master
Raiders.
Valkyrie.
We're in the middle of a talk show, so we
Yeah,
will. But welcome in,
I'll
everybody.
let you
I
say
hope
your hellos. I'll
welcome
let you say
in.
your hellos first.
Thank you so much for rating. What were you playing? Let's get you a shout out. It's probably better to
Hello, Lore
like.
Master.
It's probably better to take a break and be able to like potentially cut that out of a VOD if I repost it. Anyway.
I mean, I still want to say hello. I feel like it would be rude of me to say not to say hello.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I appreciate it. But thank you so much for the
Either
raid.
way.
How would you don't you worry, you didn't interrupt nothing.
Yeah,
I
no, I mean, I chose myself to stop speaking to say hello. So
Yeah, I was gonna wait
if
for you to like get to a natural pause and then I was gonna address. But welcome Raiders, we are doing a little talk show that I've started. This is episode 2. I have my guest Pokey, who is actually in VR. I've figured out how to put him in, bring him from 3D to 2D while remaining 3D. Most of your hands are getting cut off by the table. But I hope you had a wonderful stream, and thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. And y'all should go check out Valkyr. They're really cool. Ah,
probably
oh,
will I'll pop them up in a new tab of mine to take a look see at them. Oh, oh! I just saw on your screen. I was like, I was just pure black for a moment.
I clicked on the wrong thing. You disappeared for a moment.
She
The
disappeared.
giant block,
Yeah,
the black box of death.
yeah. I shall leave their tab open for now to take a look at them later on.
Um,
You shall be you shall be judged by my eyes very, very meanly. I rule with an iron fist. Oh.
so, what made you want to be a VTuber?
Oh, actually, funny enough, I still haven't finished
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
Zelda.
Sorry. I was just like
So
ADHD brain.
continuing on with that, I left off like you got the flute, and then Spirit Zelda was just like, oh, you can. I think you had to like get a weapon, and then you can like leave out the back of the castle. After you leave out the back of the castle, um, like it's just a similar dungeon. It's like a bunch. It's just a couple puzzles. This is like the first puzzles of the game.
Right?
And I remember this puzzle to me to my child brain was significantly harder. It was like super hard to do. Like I didn't know how to fucking do it. So because of that, me and my brothers were always just like, all right, we don't know how to do this. Why not? Let's make a new save file. I don't know how to play this. So we started a new save file and we did that for like I think we did it like 4 times. And then there was one day that I knew had to go out on a super long drive. And so usually me and my brothers take our DSs and we play them in the minivan while my parents are driving us somewhere.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this game out again. It was like a year later at this point, and my brain actually fucking developed like a decent amount.
Right.
So, so because of that, I played the game. I got to that part and I was like, I knew this is the part we got stuck on. So I had to like in modern terms, I had to lock in, dare I say. But I had to
Okay.
really focus.
I had to
I had to
lock
really
in,
focus
as
how
they
to really do this
say.
puzzle. Do you wanna know how you solved this puzzle?
Hi.
Alright, it was 4 switches, 1 on the left, 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and 1 on the right. Do you wanna know the order you had to hit them in? The You had to hit them left, up, down, right, and that's what it was, essentially. Me and my brothers did not know how to read the thing, and we never understood that. But I remember
Hi.
the euph I remember the euphoria in my own mind when I figured out how to do that puzzle, and that felt that felt fucking amazing. And ever since then, I've always ever since I solved that puzzle like that, I adored the Legend of Zelda series. I played Spirit Tracks. I went on to playing Phantom Hourglass. That was a really good one. I then played like Twilight Princess. I then went on to like play like a few other Zelda games. I'm trying to remember which ones specifically, but that's also I think after Spirit or Twilight Princess 3DS came out, so that's when I played A Link Between Worlds. I played Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Triforce Heroes, even though no one really talks about that one, but I
That's
still
the
had
one
fun with
where
it.
you get to dress up as a cheerleader, Link.
Yeah, but I loved those games, and ever since like Spirit Tracks, I like adored it. That's such as a kid having no idea how to do something in a game and then coming back later. Yeah, that's
Oh
exactly how it was.
my god.
But
I actually that just I played the GameCube port of Ocarina of Time, and I could not get past Dodongo's Cavern for the life of me at all. And then as an adult, I just walked through it in one try without getting stuck at all, and I'm like, I'm so dumb. How?
uh,
Simplest dungeon ever. Look at the
there we go.
map. I kept getting lost in Dodongo's Cavern.
There we go. My headset disconnected for a second, but either way, continuing on. um, I just want to point out that um, playing the, I think, what was it? I think the thing I should point out is, since I pointed out the 3DS, when the 3DS came out, um, one of the Pokemon games that I played on there was Pokemon Y. And Pokemon
Okay.
Y is my favorite Pokemon game ever. It has always been my favorite because since when that came around, I remember it was like, what is the name of your character? And I looked at that and I'm like, I'm tired of always thinking of a different name or using my real name for stuff like this. So what name am I gonna do? I decided to finally like make my name, which was Pokelink, because it's I was like in my head I'm thinking, oh, I really like Pokemon. Oh, I really like Zelda. Pokelink. That is a fucking perfect name. And
Okay, good.
I know I remember like I remember because of that, like I never like changed it ever since then. Like I think one of the only big differences that changed was when I made my Nintendo account.
Hmm.
I think it needed like a couple other extra like characters in my name or something like that. But I remember I went with 24 at first. So for a while I was named like oh like my username was Pokelink 24.
Right.
But and then like I think I didn't like because it doesn't sound as it doesn't sound as good as 25.
You know what's better than
Uh,
24? 25.
25. But it wasn't even like that. I don't want to say it was like that,
SpongeBob meme.
but it's weird how in my head like I heard Pokelink 24 and it just didn't feel like when I think at the time when I was thinking of a name,
Right?
like I wanted a name that like when you heard the end of it, you knew it was the end of it. And I just like I put a bunch of different numbers, but eventually I settled on 25. Pokelink 25 because that
Oh,
feels like such a good ending number to
okay.
me. And that's kind of how it came to be to me.
Okay.
And ever since then, I have always named my stuff after Pokelink 25, Pokelink 25, Twitch is Pokelink 25, Discord's Pokelink 25, my fucking Crunchyroll's Pokelink 25, my fucking actually my Roblox was Pokelink 25, but now it's Pokelink 26 because since I made a Roblox account years ago.
All right, fair enough. I haven't. The last time I played Roblox was when you guys were like, "Hey, Sal, let's play Roblox," and it was like the first time I ever played Roblox. And that's like,
I think I have.
I still have it downloaded on my computer. Never got rid of it. Still have Roblox. Have not touched it since you guys had me play Roblox with you.
But um but yeah, ever since then, like Pokemon Y was like kind of like the reason why my name came to be. And that's like what I adored. I loved Pokemon Y. It was one of my favorites. And and then Legend of Zelda was also, as I said, one of the favorite games at the time. And it was like the only games that I wanted to play as a kid. So
Okay. So, what made you want to be a VTuber? I say, saying the question that I accidentally asked while you were in the middle of a story, because my
uh,
ADHD brain thought of a good transition to another question.
but um oh man, I'm trying to I think alright, first off, I'm gonna answer the lore. 25 is a good number and very smooth thing, 'cause, yeah, it's weird how I actually before I answer that VTuber question, like, my I remember, going into someone's stream, they were rating people's names, and so I remember they were rating my name, and this was kinda, like, solidified, like, why I like, this was, like, years after, after it. I think it was also when I started VTubing,
Mhm.
or when I was more active on Twitch. But I remember like someone was doing like name reviews, and they said they liked my name because since they liked the structure of my name, like if you draw like outside of my name with like the capitalized letters and all that, like
Mhm.
it kind of like perfect because since it was like the front of it was capitalized, the middle of it was like also like standing out, and then the end was standing out because of the two numbers. And kind of ever since then, I kind of realized it's like, yeah, you're not wrong about that. But like reading Lore Mercury or Lore Masters like chat about that, that's what it reminds me of. All right, but going into the what made me want to become a VTuber. Um, I remember I remember I as a kid I was always interested in content. I was always kind of interested in content creation. Like I made like I liked I did like YouTubers and I liked YouTube videos. I thought they were always really cool. And funny enough, some of my first quote unquote videos I should point out was it was me and my siblings me and my siblings were recording ourselves on our 3DSs playing Disney Infinity on the Wii.
Oh, I
And
remember
we
that one.
yeah, and that's kind of what like sparked it at first. But ever since then I kind of like I think after that I stopped. But I always had that creative feeling and all that. And then eventually, my brother tried streaming more because since he was like he was always on the Xbox and he's always playing Siege, so he streamed himself playing Siege. I did that for a little bit, stopped after a while, but when I came in like towards the VTubing scene in 2021, um, I met this one person. I met this one person. I don't want to go into their name because since I don't want to outright name them, and
Probably for the
I
best.
have yeah I want to say I have bad I don't want to say I have bad blood, but it's just we're not on talking terms right now. But so I met that person, and I remember I was in their chat for a while. Like they were super nice, but I eventually was like I pointed out to them. I even like reached out to them in DM. I think like eventually like they're like, "Oh, did you ever like think of like getting your own kind of character?" And it's like I always had a thought of my character because since also at the time I was um I was also a big role player. All right, I want to be
Okay.
blunt. I was a big role player, and I always had like a picture of the character in my head, but it never was like definitive because since it just never really came to be, and I also didn't have the artistic skill to make my own character. But I met this person. They're like, "Hey, like if you ever get the money, um, why don't you try commissioning me and just hand me ref images and I'll try to make a character for you." And that's what I
Oh,
did. I got money. I remember getting money, and I remember handing it to them, and I was like, "Can you make a character with these images?" All right, and it was a picture. It was a picture of like Toon Link in the Pokemon Y outfit. It was a picture of a customized Corrin with red hair, and I think there was one other photo, but I don't remember. Or I think it was just those two photos, but it was two or three photos I handed her, and then she made it, and I was like, "Can you make that into a PNG for me?" And she made it into a PNG, and because of that, I kind of used it for PNG and I started streaming more, and I realized like this is way more fun than I thought it was. So I started streaming more and more, and I kind of just like got into the groove of being a VTuber,
okay.
and like it it's kind of wild that like I was just like, oh, this is fun. I'm gonna do it a little more, and then I just kind of just fell into the rabbit hole of like, oh, I'm a VTuber now. So
I actually have a random follow-up question then.
mhm.
So you, I'm pretty sure you're like Sil and didn't really watch VTubers beforehand or during. Do you consider yourself as having an Oshi? Do you have an Oshi?
Mm, like I didn't watch VTubers as much before. I've always watched I don't even actually funny enough before that those events I never really watched Twitch. I never really got onto Twitch and I never really looked into stuff. I saw I saw like I think I had saw some VTubers, but like those are like the very like mainstream ones, and I didn't even know they were VTubers at the time. I thought they were animations that other people made, like like I thought like Hatsune Miku, for example, or even like
Hatsune Miku.
or oh my god, what was her name? It was like the girl in the white outfit, brown hair,
Kizuna Aya.
uh, Kizuna. Kizuna?
Yeah,
That
Kizuna
was her name.
Kizuna Aya.
All right,
Or
I
AI.
remember seeing. I remember seeing her. I definitely remember seeing her because since I was super active on Discord, and I saw people like had like pictures of her a lot.
She's the first
Because since I had this,
VTuber, actually.
yeah, I saw her. I saw her a lot because since I saw people like take your emotes and then like threw it into their own server, and I didn't
Yeah.
know who it was. I just thought it was just anime girl with doing funny expressions. That's kind of what I thought it was. But
Okay.
but
Fair.
really, I don't think I would consider myself having one. I mean, really, if I wanted to say I had one, like it's weird to say, but it's really weird to say. But like, if anything, the only one who would fit in that category technically would be Sil. Sil would be technically the one who fits into that category of who would be the quote unquote Oshi, right? Because Oshi is like the person I look up to, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a combination of so there's two terms with that. There is Kami Oshi, and then there is Oshi. And your Oshi, you can have multiple Oshis. You can only have one Kami Oshi, but your Oshi generally means it's kind of like equal parts your favorite streamer or the streamer who got you into it. So if you have two Oshis, you would if you have sometimes people do it for like every agency gets one Oshi, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever if
And
you want to follow the agencies. But usually, if you put one above everything, it's like who got you into VTubing? That's your Kami Oshi. Then, and if you were
all right,
being casual about it and not having a lot of favorites, it's probably just your only Oshi.
yeah. I mean, then technically that still does fall onto Sil, because since Sil was kind of like the one that kind of pushed me to stream more.
Okay.
She was the one that kind of like put because since I remember streaming. Funny enough, I remember streaming. I think I was also chatting with Sil at the time as well, because since I also just found them out. Actually, funny enough, I found Sil first, then I found the artist. But yeah, because since I was like, oh wow, they're like I'm getting recommended to people. You know, I'll check these people out, and that's how I found them. But so either way, continuing on, like Sil was kind of like the gateway of like that brought me into VTubing, and I also remember when I was talking to Sil, I remember one of the things that she told me, and this was kind of like in my head was she told God I it would probably I think if she heard it now she would probably maybe even cringe a little, but she's like I see your stream, I see you have the potential, and I don't know it just like hearing that it was just like I think deep inside of me it's just like all right I want to push streaming a bit more, and I was excited to do so. So because of that, because of that, I streamed more and more, and I kind of just grew to where I am. It's weird how to say like it's weird that now I don't want to say that Sil is like the Oshi kinda, but like by technicality, she would fall under it because since she was the one that kind of got me into streaming and VTubing, essentially.
Well, hey, that's something you can lord over other VTuber fans that you get to hang out with your Oshi all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Just like, yes,
Yeah.
suck it. You put your sights so high. I get to hang out with my Oshi every day.
It like, I wouldn't mind I don't mind saying that, but at the same time, I'm also at the same time, like, I don't it feels weird for me to say, like, I put her as an Oshi, because since I don't wanna, like, because I don't wanna hold, like, someone who I find is a dear friend of mine on, like, this super, super high pedestal that, like, I'm, like, climbing to just even say hello to them or, like, be on their
I'm,
level, but,
I mean, fair. Like,
I don't
you
wanna
don't have
say
to put
that, like,
people on a pedestal. You could, I think you can have a favorite celebrity without like stalking them, or you know what I mean.
yeah, I see
It's
what you mean.
fair. You can. I think. I mean, we've never talked about like. like VTuber like culture stuff much. I mean,
Yeah.
Sil is always very uninterested in it, and it usually gets shut down when I bring it up. But like I said,
I,
I think it doesn't hurt anything to think of Sil that way, especially if you think of it casually and just be like, yeah, no, she got me into. That's what that word means. She got me into VTubing.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's why it's just like I don't say it, but it's like she is the one that got me into YouTubing. And like saying that like she wasn't is like an outright fucking lie, essentially. But if it's like also the one of those things just like it's like one of I think it's just people just not liking terms anymore of stuff. That could be it.
You know what? I agree. I never really I don't like defining things most of the time.
Like that's what it just probably really is. But that's what it some that's why like I don't want to say like I had an I don't like saying I have an Oshi or even then like me saying silly isn't my quote unquote Oshi
Yeah.
is like I don't want to it's not cringe but it's just like because I mean there's some people who really enjoy
Honest.
using those terms and power to you if you really like using them but
I
it
mean,
it
we're
just like
VTubers. That's I just kind of use
yeah
it for the sake of the broader culture, kind of.
I mean it could also be another thing like one thing that stops me from doing so is mainly oh my god I'm trying to think
I
but
guess it
I think
kind
one
of
of the things
feels
that
like using the word waifu unironically.
yeah I mean it feels weird that that word feels more accepted, but I think one other thing that kind of pushes me away from using the term Oshi is that I'm super I'm super indie coded rather than
Yeah, that
rather than
is probably more like industry people.
yeah, I'm indie coded and Sill's also indie coded, so that's why we don't really use those terms. Like you could
Fair.
power as I said, power to you if you want to use them. If you want to be like a corpo VTuber or if you want to be like like one of those kind of VTubers, God, ever since fucking Cyberpunk,
Well,
I've always been using that fucking term
no,
corpo.
genuinely, I think it's hilarious that Cyberpunk has put corpo into like out of all the words, like the slang from Cyberpunk, corpo is the one that made the jump to real life. Like
Exactly.
everyone says corpo now, and I think that that's hilarious.
Ugh.
Just like the corpo, you just out here, don't trust the corpos. Just, I don't know why that's
Yeah.
funny to me. I'm like, I don't know. I would have thought like something like let's Delta or something would have been like what kind of made the jump. Or
hmm
Gonk. I like calling people Gonk. I like that one.
But yeah, that at least it's the whole Oshi thing. If that answers your question.
I mean that's fair. It was more just like a casual thing. I they are like kind of the the VTubing like community and industry is very much actually more integrating itself together. So like the corpos aren't as far from indies anymore, but at the same time, like if that's not how you got into it, it makes sense how you wouldn't want to like how you're not like attached to like the terms that everybody adopted from Japan.
Yeah. I just never really I don't know. I just never really liked like the I never really got into the Hololive stuff or the Corpo stuff, as I said.
Yeah, fair.
Like I just wasn't a fan of it. It's just me. Like don't get me wrong, like I like seeing clips of bigger VTubers and I do like seeing them here and there. Like they like sometimes they'll appear into my feed and like I'll go like, okay, that's pretty funny, or yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good fucking clip or good like short that I see. But I just never really outright wanted to watch them. I mean, even then, even with me going like, oh, I really liked QU Coco, like I never really like watched her. I just like seen her in some of the clips, and I really enjoyed her through her clips.
Good morning,
Hello, Sil.
motherfuckers.
Hello, Sil. Welcome back in. That's weird that Sil just joins back after the whole Oshi thing.
Yeah. We talk about Syl for a minute, and then Syl's gone. Syl shows up as soon as we're done talking about her.
Yeah, or at least she just showed up this minute, but still.
But
Y-
boy,
Oh,
all right, I have ran out of subjects. So do you want to move on to onto the questions?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually thought those were the. I thought we already moved to the question.
Nope, that was small talk, just chit chatting.
That's crazy. I actually outright didn't think like when you asked me that first question of like my name. I'm like, oh, all right. I guess we're getting into the questions
Nope,
now.
I was just like I said, I was just making conversation.
Yeah, but either way, yeah, but yeah, I'm totally ready for the. I'm ready for the fucking questions. 100%.
All right. So did you ever see yourself becoming a streamer when you were younger?
Uh, it is going back into what I said before. I like. I didn't. I thought of myself coming into a content creator, but I didn't see myself coming into a streamer. Like,
I
I thought of myself, like, being, like, like, a YouTuber kinda thing, but I never saw myself going in like, I think my first experience with streaming, funny enough, was on Mixer, actually.
oh
I streamed on Mixer for a while, and funny enough, one of the people who are actually partnered on Twitch right now, um, do you mind if I say their name? Or
are they okay to say?
I mean, yeah, yeah, they are. I don't have any bad blood. Fun enough, they were actually one of the people that I actually like really enjoyed like getting onto their streams and stuff. Because since
Sure, go
they
for
had
it.
yeah, yeah. One of the people that I really liked stream or going with because since he had a bunch of like open nights for Siege, his name was Obi Bert Kenobi.
Okay.
He was a mixer partnered streamer and I remember, like, jumping onto his streams because since he would always do he would always do, like he would do, open lobby, like or open teams, like, "Send me a message on Xbox, you'll be in a queue, I'll invite you, and you'll play, like, Siege with me on stream." And that's kinda what it was. It was kinda just a really relaxed, chill kinda stream, and I really fucking liked it.
Okay.
And funny enough, Obi's on Twitch is on Twitch, and he actually is partnered, and I'm really happy for him because he's really kind and he's a really good fellow.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, but I never, as I said, I never really got into streaming at first, but ever since like trying it myself, and then like even after getting my PNG to try, because I think my first game that I streamed on OBS was Code Vein. I streamed Code Vein. But if I'm not counting what I streamed on OBS, my first game that I ever streamed was Siege. I first streamed Siege. But
Okay.
yeah, but I think ever since that first time after getting my PNG, like I got more into streaming, and I was just like I kind of ditched the idea of like YouTube and stuff, and I just wanted to go more into streaming because since it made it easier for me at least in my head.
Like I find that actually really interesting because like for me, I started streaming before I had ever watched a lot of like anybody stream. So at
Yeah.
least you kind of knew what you were getting in for.
Yeah, I kind of knew what I was getting in for. I mean, God, I remember so many times here. I even will out myself on this right now. But I remember there was so many times on stream where I nearly said something really fucking bad on stream because I was angry, and that's just a me coded thing. But
Yeah.
I remember that happening a few times, and I remember even a couple of my IRL friends go like, "Bro, you almost said this on stream," and like, "Oh yeah, fuck, I nearly said that." Oh shit!
Ugh.
It was just like the nice guy who tolerates you, like he's like starting to get angry with you, kind of thing. That's kind of how it was, at least. It was kind of funny.
All right. So, what's it like being half dragon?
What's it like being half dragon? I actually really do like being I actually really do like being half dragon now, like, especially my redesign. My redesign having the half dragon nature in it really, I think it helps me out because since I've kinda if people haven't noticed, one of the things I've done is I've started slowly drifting away from Pokemon. Like, I haven't really liked Pokemon like for a long or like I really deeply liked Pokemon for a long, long time. Like, because funny enough, my fall with it started with Omega Ruby because my Omega Ruby file corrupted,
Yeah.
and and especially as a kid, when you did everything in that game and it was like nearly going to be one of your favorite Pokemon games, like having losing all your progress, especially like I defeated the Elite Four in that game and the champion like I think I defeated him like 4 times, and then I even got, like, Latios, I got Thundurus, like, that fucking Pokemon, like, I had everything, and I was super happy. Hang on.
All right.
Oh my god, talking so long. I have a dry throat.
Do a quick hydrate. I hope everyone else is doing good. I really like Pokemon. Like, I kind of got out of Pokemon because the game started getting easier and easier, and I never was
Eh,
sure if it was because of me getting older and understanding the mechanics better, or if it was just like they babied the games more and more as time went on. But like once it became like I didn't have to even really care about types or anything, I started like kind of moving away.
for me, it was, like, ever since that Omega Ruby incident as is, because since it, like anytime I played a Pokemon game, it always reminded me of that incident. Like, I felt like complete shit. Because since I never could get that stuff back, and I was so sad about that, especially since, at the time, Pokemon Bank, I didn't have a Pokemon Bank account, and I also didn't have money to pay for Pokemon Bank, so I couldn't get any of those Pokemon back. But,
You just gave me a
continually
weird sort of anxiety for like half a second where I'm like, can I still access all the Pokemon I put on Pokemon Ranch in my on my Wii? Just like, can I still does that program still work? I think I still have it downloaded. Did you ever use Pokemon Ranch? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I have, actually.
You could put it was a thing for the Wii, and you could put anybody from I think like the Diamond and Pearl era onto your Wii. You could just transfer them over from those games and that like whole like section onto it, and then you could run a little farm where your Pokemon were working, and you had to like unlock stuff, and it would give you more Pokemon that you can transfer back, and
Huh.
it was like a dumb little mini game thing that had little mini games and stuff, and you just like pet and fed your Pokemon.
Mhm.
And it's one of
Yeah.
those things I
Uh,
mostly used as a storage device for extra Pokemon.
yeah. But to quickly go back to the question, um, ever since I've been drifting away from Pokemon, I realized that I kinda want my design to kind of reflect, like, the games that I'm currently like, some of my favorites and some of the big things that's kinda shaped me.
Uh huh.
'Cause, and funny enough, my dragon design, if anyone doesn't know, funny enough, is from Fire Emblem. It's from Fire Emblem Fates. I love Fire Emblem Fates, it's my favorite Fire Emblem game. And, I remember even with my original design, I wanted Corrin to be a part of it, so I implemented the dragon to kinda reference that. This was one of my favorite games, like, growing up,
All shoes
and
removed from all models and art.
but continuing continuing on with that, um, I like my design having the half dragon. I adore it, and as I said, my design is kind of reflecting off of, like, what are some of my favorite games that I've grew up with, and some of my favorite pieces of media that I grew up with. Like, I've been always wanting to do one like, thinking about it, I've been wanting to do you know those like, oh, your what is your character based off of? And it's like that 8 square thing around like around the center portrait of
Oh
like your
yeah, yeah,
character.
yeah.
I've been wanting to kind of do one of those, and I'm in like looking at it, and I realized like, oh man, like I kind of want to do that. I want to do one of those, and if I had to put characters in there, um, obviously I'd put Link, I'd put a Pokemon trainer like from specifically X and Y.
The one with the
I would put
beret.
in, I would be putting in Corrin, especially the red hair Corrin that I had as a character. Um, I would be putting in. Funny enough, this one is more of a more recent one. That's kind of also helped me push to get my dragon design. But it is a recent manga actually. It is called Ruri Dragon at all. If you ever heard of that,
Yuri Dragon at all?
like it's called Ruri Dragon. Ruri Dragon.
I have not heard of that one.
It is a new manga, and the whole point of this manga, or the whole point of this manga is that this little girl, um this teenage girl, she's growing up in high school, but as she's growing up in high school, her more dragon parts are starting to show up and come out of her, and she didn't know what was happening. Turns out her father is a dragon,
Huh.
and so it's currently going through her high school life as a half dragon, half human,
Okay.
and because of that, I've kind of been super interested in I've kind of been super I kind of like that's kind of what pushed my design to like I really want the dragon in me because since I kind of or the dragon in me, but I still wanted the dragon. I I fucking hate. I thought of the werewolf just like ripping off its shirt, but I just said the dragon in me,
You
or
got
even
that dog
fucking
in
Yak.
you? You got that dragon in
Yeah,
you?
yeah, the dog in me. Or I was also thinking of just like the throwing off jacket, like Yakuza style. Just had like the tattoo in the back and all that.
Unleash the dragon inside, Pokey. Have you ever actually considered writing lore? You said you were into role playing, and that kind of goes hand in hand a lot of the time with stuff like tabletop RPGs having like a back. Because obviously, we all kind of know that on one hand, the lore of VTubing doesn't really matter. It's more for theming purposes and for maybe little
Yeah.
events.
I'll say I think, funny enough, for a while actually, I was actually really into setting up lore for my character. Like I really wanted to make lore for my character. And like this was also before the redesign,
Right,
but
right,
like I had it based down because since I and the lore was written in a way to reference the creator who brought me in, who to reference to at least then who was also there with me, and like everyone else I like kind of grew up with and like quote unquote grew up with the in lore with.
right, right.
But your character lore should be Jedi Jawa. Ooh, God, that's a throwback. That's a reference to my D&D character. Actually, funny enough, it was a Jedi Jawa.
Because
Oh
you
man, that was
played
so
the
good.
Star Wars tabletop game.
Yeah,
Also
but
find it funny that you're one of the only other people I know who refers to all tabletop RPGs as D&D other than me, and I think that that's kind of funny because like we're not from remotely the same place either. Just like I just think that that's like just
yeah,
interesting.
but But continuing on, I did want to make lore for my character, and also as I said, yes, I was a big role player, and I do like making stories. But um, going going off of that, one of the things that kind of stopped me from like making like lore about my character now is also I got into like or like I got into drama with people who are in my lore, and because of that,
Yeah,
I I kinda, like, the lore that I had with them, threw it out the window. Just, took it, just kinda threw it.
yeah, it's kind
Just
of
kinda just
better to
picked it up,
have
throw it.
it's kind of better to have a solid core of just you lore that can then just touch other people's than to actually have them fully integrated.
Yeah, it's just the way how I liked writing it, I liked writing it in reference because one of the things that I kind of like doing was my character like as I said, I like referencing the people who made me, and it kind of could show in the lore, and it kind of can show like, hey, this is also like some of the people that helped me out, and you should go support them. And that was what some of the reasons why I made the lore like that. But as I said, since I got into shit with them, I kind of just didn't. I kind of just threw out the window, and I stopped making lore. And also, like, I think another reason why what kind of stopped me about making lore about my character specifically is that I ended up realizing that my character is kind of just more of like, how do I see, like, if I just ripped my head off and like put it into the internet, like, what would my body look like? What would my entire like body or race kind of look like?
You just got like
And
digitized or whatever.
yeah, like if I went into like I went into like the Wreck It Ralph movie 2, and like I just walked into like the internet, like how would I picture myself like?
Okay.
but but like still like I but to kind of give the short answer for my redesign, no, I haven't thought about writing lore because since part of me is just I don't like the corpo stuff. I think one of the things that kind of pushed me away was also corpo stuff, but that's kind of just another topic
That's kind of just,
entirely.
yeah, retreading stuff we already talked about a little bit, but
Yeah,
also anyway.
yeah, but really the main thing that stopped it was the drama with the person, the corpo stuff, and then also realizing that my character is literally like my character is literally just me. How am I supposed to make lore for just me? You know,
I mean,
it's
you're
like
also half dragon now and an elf, and you
I
could,
mean,
I'm sure you could
yeah,
just be like self-insert fantasy about being half dragon and an elf. I
yeah.
mean,
It and then like read it like hearing it like that, it makes me feel like I don't know, like that feels like the shoddiest like half-witted lore there is actively,
but you don't actually
at
have to
least to
be
me.
corpo to have lore. A lot of people do it. Like,
Yeah, I just think I know some of the people who are who are or at least there's some people who are like really strung up about their lore. Like I remember for like the longest time, like they were like super invested into like the streaming stuff, and then like the second it didn't like work out, like they shut down completely, and kind of that fear kind of also, or I want to say fear, but kind of just like that fear. Actually, I should fear the fear of that feeling of just like absolute depression of like if something that I put my life into like absolutely like shutting down, would just tear me apart. Essentially, that's what it was. That kind of what drove me away a little bit as well.
fair. Um, Feel free to take a quick second to hydrate.
Yeah, no, I am. But I, you know, you said that, and I was like, I should drink water.
um, so this next question we kind of covered a little bit. So feel free to give a very short answer if you don't want to go more in depth on this.
Hmm.
But did you have any other concepts in mind for your VTuber for your model and your design before landing on your current design?
Uh, I think like besides if anything, like probably you could say Pokemon trainer thing, but like other than that, like I never really gave much other thought about being anything else. Like I knew I was always super big into or like I say I'm an elf now. I say I'm an elf, but like I know like originally like I thought like oh I should be like a Hylian, you know, because since I'm super big into Zelda, but I kind of just slowly morphed into you're an elf now. I'm gonna take your Play-Doh. I'm gonna shape you into an elf, and there you go.
I mean, if you get any success, you'd have to deal with Nintendo. So maybe it's
Yeah,
better to
yeah,
stick with
that's what.
Elf.
Yeah, that's why, like, I kinda and then funny enough, it's more so funny that, like it's funny how part of me was always like, "Oh, I should be a Hylian," but one of the reasons that also, like, it kinda slowly shifted to Elf was that everyone kept calling me an elf. And I didn't feel like correcting them because it's like, they're not wrong. I am an elf. That's what Hylians are, they're an elf. And so because of that, I just kinda adapted that, and I kinda liked being an elf, and that's what I liked.
I always think it's funny when you actually see regular humans in like the Zelda franchise, and they just kind of look off out of place, and they're always like ugly, and you're just like, why are you like this? And they never tell you what they are. They're just like, they're not Helians, and you're just like, what are the people who look like normal humans but ugly are? What are they? I don't. And they just never tell you. It's just like, okay. I don't think they gave them a canonical name. I don't think they've ever like
Well,
referred to them as anything.
I don't think they have either. But yeah, no. I never really thought like, I never really thought of a different design. I never like, besides, like, saying, like, "Oh, I'm a Highlander," or saying I'm a Pokemon trainer, but even then, I kinda shut those ideas down because 'cause I'm like, I'm not like I think I shut down Pokemon Trainer because since I wasn't just the biggest I was as I said, I was falling off of Pokemon, so I stopped caring. I stopped really, like, leaning towards Pokemon stuff, and so because of that, I kind of leaned to being the dragon elf kinda thing.
Fair. All right. What was the most annoying part? What's the most annoying part of your design?
What's the most annoying part of my design?
Yeah,
Like,
you can interpret that however you want. That's just what their question was.
I would say I mean, this is more I would say annoyance, but, like, this is just, like, more of a mistake. But this is the only one that comes to mind. It's that when I when my design was first made, or at least besides not like first made, like when my redesign was first made, I had green eyes. I didn't want green eyes. Alright?
Okay.
I've never had green eyes, and I never really liked my character with green eyes, because since I always liked thinking of the art or like as my model is me. And
Right.
then when I saw me with green eyes, I'm like, "That's not me." And it's like, that's someone else entirely. So, like, really the only it's like it's a short answer, but really the only annoying
I feel
thing
you.
is just green eyes. I didn't like having green eyes. I like having brown eyes, because since brown eyes to me feels better, because IRL I have brown eyes.
Okay. That makes
That's what I
sense.
like.
Okay. Interesting. Because I think the green eyes did look good with the design, but I can understand why you would be like, because like hilariously enough, every time people draw me, they make me greener. I have noticed, like, and that includes official art, but everyone always gets it close enough to like my original
Yeah.
that I'm like, okay. So like when I was getting my new model designed, and I based it off of the best fan art that I got, which were also slightly greener from the original color and hair. Didn't help that I was already into this kind of like halfway between the two colors color, and now I look very green. I think my current like so I kind of feel the like it's not exactly right. Like kind of a vibe.
Yeah. It's just I just never I don't know. As I said, I don't because since I was thinking of it as me, when I see the art with me with green eyes, unless it's like unless I don't know, like the theme of the art, like for some reason gave me green eyes, like I don't know, like magic powers shooting into my eyes and they're turning green or some stupid shit. I don't know, but like really because of that, I just never when I see green eyes, it's just that's not me, and that's the thing that annoyed me. Because since I didn't like I hated looking at the art. I hated looking at the art and seeing green eyes and go like, that's not me. That was the thing. That's just what stopped me, and that's really the only thing on my design that like I didn't like. But we did end up, funny enough, I did end up reaching out to the artist who made my redesign and go like, hey, um, I said I wanted brown eyes, and they're like, "Oh, fuck."
Just be like, the power of Christmas fills me with rage.
Yeah,
Red
yeah,
hair and
but
green eyes.
yeah. Oh, but that's really the only annoying thing of my design. But even then, I fixed it now, and I think right now my design is pretty looks pretty fine. I haven't had any other gripes about my design really.
Okay.
Like,
All right. Back. So, on to less streaming related things.
hmm
What is your favorite anime and or cartoon scene of all time and why? I'll drop
ooh,
the word scene. That seems easier to narrow that down, I
okay.
think.
I'm gonna I'm gonna separate like anime and then cartoon, so at least I'm gonna give an answer for each of them
Okay.
to make it easier. I think my favorite anime is Parasite, the Maximum. It was like
Really?
the yes, that was one of the animes that I loved because I remember watching it when it was God, it's probably bad to say this, but I remember watching it when I was like really down about myself, and then
Yeah.
like watching the show, like I had that he's literally me effect, and then like ever since then, like I've kind of like stonewalled emotions a lot. I remember, and so so because of that, like I remember like he was able to calm down instantly, and I'm just like I should do that too. I should like make it easier to control my emotions. And then
Okay.
I've kind of realized it's also had a negative effect on me, but realistically, that's kind of what's happened.
I find that
Uh,
interesting because I squeebed out of that show without even getting all the way through because all the body horror messed with my brain. I'm like, ugh. I don't like the fact that this gives me weird spine tingles watching this anime.
like I think after that, it would go into I think after that anime, it just would go into like Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm gonna be combining Brotherhood and the original. I loved both of them. They're both really fucking good, and I adore them to death.
Can we all just admit that
But
they're the same show? Like,
the the thing is, they're different because since some characters actually have entirely like some characters actually die in Brotherhood who live in the original, or at least
yeah,
vice versa. But like still, it's like something happens to this character, and then something happens to this, and then it's like
but like
I know one of the reasons
functionally,
why. I know one of the things that I liked, and this is just me. One of my favorite things is that I loved the original, the actual like original anime's ending, because I thought it gave me a cool premise of like it was hopeful, and because since the whole because I don't actually I shouldn't spoil it, but should I?
maybe not
Yeah,
actually.
I'm like yeah, but I liked the ending of the original because it gave me hope that like oh man, like even though I know there's not gonna be another season, but it gave me like hope of like holy shit. Like there could be like another anime like after this, and then like it would be really sick, and I like the idea of like he like he gets what he wants at the end, blah blah blah.
It just,
And it
that
was
makes
it
me
was really
think
cool.
of kind of.
What?
It just immediately popped in my brain that all the people who wanted a sequel to like Fate Stay Night or Fate the Blade one, Unlimited Blade Works or whatever, right?
Fate Stay Night,
With Archer.
Unfairness, Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of people requested a sequel series. They wanted a continuation with those characters, and so instead they made a cooking spinoff. It's just like,
Oh
you
yeah,
want
I
more of these
remember
characters?
that.
Here you go. You're just like, okay, I guess. Just like, not what I asked for, but I'll take it, sure.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
I just think that that's. It just made me think of that, like, that's where my brain went, and I thought that was funny. All right, Full Metal Alchemist, the cooking anime.
Oh no. Oh my god, did my opera crash?
Maybe.
My fucking opera crashed. Oh.
I mean, we can hear you still,
Yeah,
so
no, yeah, no. My fucking. I was trying to bring up anime list. I was trying
fair.
to bring up my anime list. That's what I was trying to do. Because since I know there was one other show that I wanted to speak of, because since, hang on,
And the monkey
let me
paw
pull it up.
curled.
All right, I just need to quickly log in. Oh my god, I got fucking jump scared by an ad. Oh my god.
Buy the product. Ah!
I hear like an ad. I'm just like, no, no, go away, please, please go away.
I have like a trauma response to the stupid Rita Fries ad now. I've not talked about it on the stream before. Well, you're messing with that. Uh,
Yeah.
but somehow it was specifically Twitch decided that, hey, Cell needs Orida fries, Orida frozen French fries. So we're gonna exclusively send them ads for just Orida fries for 2 months. So I'd be watching it and just be like, up, I ride, like a ride of fries, perfect potatoes every time, and then it'd be like next ad, also a ride up, I rise, potatoes every time,
Uh,
and then it'd be back to the show, and you'd watch the streamer for like an hour, and then it'd be like, up, I rise. I'm like, no, stop.
Also, I did find the anime that the anime I was thinking about. I was thinking about Love Chunibyo.
Oh,
That is
I
one of my other favorite animes. Oh my god,
that's
it
been
is
on my watch
so
list for
unbelievable.
like 10 years.
It is my favorite rom-com anime ever. It's like it nothing has beat it, and I adore it. It's peak. It's amazing. And then honestly, the only other anime I would probably think about talking about is JoJo's. I really like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Dun,
Part,
dun, dun, dun,
part
dun, dun, dun.
But in the part one's my favorite. I adore part one, but
I'm
that's just my favorite.
I really like part one. I think my favorite is probably part two, mostly for the character. But I feel like part one and part two are really like a package, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they got ripped off for the anime. They got such short stuff. They really should have dragged both of them out.
Yeah,
I really think they both
I
could have
wish they
held a
did.
whole season.
I wish they did, but it happens. But still, even with that short bit, I'm still surprised I really adore part one though.
Because I honestly, I
'Cause I
liked
just
it.
really like Jonathan.
I liked it a lot more when they were using martial arts instead of the stands. I feel like that's like I don't dislike the stands. I just liked it a lot more. It was like more my speed, you know?
Mm-hmm. But now we're gonna move on to the cartoons that my favorite cartoons,
Yeah.
and it's hard to really say what is like my 100% time favorite like cartoon because I watch so many, but there's only like a couple that blast in my head of like my favorite, and that would be a tie between Chowder, um, Batman Beyond, and
Okay.
and then also Batman the Animated Series was also one of them, and then the original Teen Titans.
You know, I
Like
forget that you're a big Batman fan sometimes. Just
oh my god, Batman is. I mean, you could probably tell Batman's my favorite DC hero, but
well, I mean,
funny enough,
I don't want to be this person, but Batman's everyone's favorite DC hero.
because he's so badass. Like,
Cool.
is there anyone better?
No, not
Like, I
really.
love.
Most of
Don't get me
DC,
okay.
I don't like DC as much, but I still like Batman. So like,
Also, then again, I say that,
because
and
he's
then I realized there was also
Batman.
there was one other cartoon that I really adored. That was Superman the animated series. I adored that as well. That was so good. Like I adored the animated series, and I know one of the reasons what that solidified Batman as one of my favorites was Batman the animated series. Like
I could see
He
that.
he kind of I love Terry McGinnis, and I hope to fucking God that if they ever make a game with Batman Beyond, please, please, please get the original Terry McGinnis voice actor. It
You
would be
oh,
it would be so fucking amazing.
you know who that
Please.
is, by the way?
Who?
That's right. He plays a lot of characters. Did you ever watch Goofy movie?
No, I have. I don't remember actually.
He's Goofy's son from Goofy movie.
Oh,
He's also, if you ever watched Kim Possible, he's Ron Stoppable from Kim Possible. He played
I haven't watched that.
Deadpool in the Spider-Man cartoon.
Oh,
The one-time Deadpool show. He's one of like 4 Deadpool voice actors that have ever existed for some reason. And the only time he's ever took like a voice and he was like, "All right, I'm gonna be serious," was for Batman Beyond. So that's like the closest to his actual voice than any other role he's ever done. I
yeah.
think
I
that's
just
funny.
I want Terry. I would love having him in voicing in a game, especially if they made a Rocksteady Batman Beyond game. Oh my god, that would go so unbelievably hard.
Rocksteady Batman Beyond game would be really good. I would be really hype over that.
I would be so hyped for that. I would love it. Like Batman Beyond is one of my favorites. But
You know, it's
But
something
yeah,
me and
it's like
Dijon have.
those are
Oh,
the
sorry.
that's like that's but so going for the cartoons, those are like my favorite cartoons because I loved Chowder because since it was super goofy show and it was super stupid and I loved it. I loved Batman Beyond or I love Batman the animated series because since I loved like the action in it and I loved that it showed me different heroes and all that. I love Batman Beyond because it kind of continued on that, but also kind of gave its own twist of the Batman heroes. I loved the original Teen Titans because since I loved the action in it, who would have thought? Like I really loved the action shows at the time, and it was really cool, like seeing some of the characters. And also then again, Robin was also one of my favorites because since also my father always referenced me as Robin a lot,
Okay.
and, and so because of that, I always like referenced myself as Robin, and then seeing Robin in Teen Titans like be that badass, like I was like, this is peak cinema. And then I love Superman the animated series because since those they just had it introduced me to a lot of to a lot of Superman characters. Like
Yeah, I think
I'm trying to
people
think,
really sleep on Superman in general. If I'm being honest.
yeah, like funny enough, one of my favorite villains is Lobo. I love Lobo.
I'm the
Fucking
main man. They actually moved Jason Momoa for the new one over to Lobo. He's going to be the main bad guy of the new Supergirl show, the Supergirl movie.
ooh.
Jason Momoa's Lobo, and everyone is just like, they better not kill him. They're like, he better survive this movie. We're happy to see Lobo as long as he lives.
Yeah.
Out,
It's
out.
weird how it's weird how I'm looking at all my cartoons and I've realized like, wow, I did I not have a favorite Marvel? Oh, I see. Oh, I just saw the black screen. But
My bad.
I no, it's fine. But I'm trying to think. Did I never have a favorite Marvel show? Because I Marvel is my preferred of the two. I love Marvel more than DC, but
Yeah.
I'm really surprised. I'm like trying to think. Like maybe I could say Spectacular Spider-Man, but I didn't watch that all that much. And there wasn't really any other Spider-Man shows that I really love.
Huh.
Yeah, that's weird. I like all the shows that I adore is like mainly DC, but Marvel's still my preferred. I just realized that now. Kind of funny. Oh,
That's
Kit Kat
interesting.
redeemed a pair care package.
Oh, thank you. I will do that. And Pokey, you also do that.
I am. Ugh. Yeah. Either way, that answers the cartoon anime question because since that's really all I could really talk about for it.
Fair enough. Quick side note. You know what? My brother Dijon really likes Batman also, and me and him have talked a bunch about how Terry McGinnis should be an alt-world Robin by now.
Hang on.
Because you
I
know
gotta
how they're
readjust
always,
myself.
oh, you're standing on
Hang
the
on, I gotta
desk.
readjust. Yes, I hate this desk. Rah! I had to readjust myself.
No
There we
worries.
go.
But yeah, we were talking about like with all the alt worlds and stuff that they Elseworlds or whatever that they do with DC. The fact that we've never gotten one where Batman's like Robin is Terry McGinnis is kind of interesting. You know
I
what I
mean,
mean?
it's because since Terry McGinnis is literally supposed to be a clone of Batman, or like
Well,
his own version of Batman.
yeah. But he has adopted other quote unquote clones, like his kid, that are
Damien?
yeah. He actually
Damien's his actual child.
yeah, but so is Terry, technically. Terry's not like fully his kid. He's
I mean,
half
the
his
thing is,
kid.
Damien. There's a difference between actual child Damien and then Terry McGinnis, who is like half his child.
But then I mean, technically Damien's also half his child and half Talia al Ghul's, though.
But that's more direct towards it. Literally, his is just like thrown in with some other dude's like jizz, and then they made a child. That's literally what it was.
I mean, yeah, but like technically, just because he did if you go to Marvel, Wolverine didn't sleep with anybody to make Laura, but Laura is his biological daughter, technically.
Oh man.
So she is half Wolverine, half the scientist who created her. So I mean, but also Batman has two biological kids.
Oh,
That's something that happened in the comics not that long ago. Did you ever watch Mask of the Phantasm?
I don't remember actually.
It was
I think I might have.
it's one of the Batman the Animated Series movies, and it's all about this like super badass like dude, and it turns out it's a girl in a robot suit who
I think.
is like trying to get revenge. I can't remember the exact plot. All I know is it's like a dude, and it turns out it's a girl in a suit, and it turns out that Batman had a relationship with her before she
Huh.
became a supervillain. And in the comics, they added her, and everyone's like, "Yo, they added the Phantasm!" And then, it's just like, "Oh yeah, Batman had a kid with her." You're just like, "What?" It was like a whole like, you know how it is with comics. You have to try to get people to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Also, Mac, you are not wrong about Superman. He can be boring, but some stories of his is amazing. That's what I thought. Like Superman the animated series was. I thought it was really good because some of the villains in there was really good. They
I
had a lot of good villains in Superman the animated series, but I feel like I feel like I'm dragging on the cartoons question way too long now.
no
Since
worries.
I'm kind of getting really into it now.
Um. Okay, we have one more about design that we have since gained.
Okay.
If you were to pick a different theme, what would you pick?
I feel like I remember you. I think you told me about this one, but if I had to pick a different theme, like if I didn't have to go with like, if I had to go with a different theme, I mean, technically, my theme now is like, or here, when you say theme, are you meaning like my general vibe? Like, for example, like my character is like, my theme could be said as like a forest or modern fantasy kind of thing. Would you say that?
Yeah, so like right now you're a dragon elf in either medieval fantasy and or modern day. Modern
I say
fantasy.
modern. I think it's more modern fantasy at this point because since as I said, it's more me. So and that would just be modern fantasy. But
Yeah, could you
if
imagine like a
anything,
sci-fi pokey?
I if I had to go with something else, the only other one I can think of me going as is a yak is I think I told you as well, but I would like to go as a Yakuza like theme. I think that would be cool.
It's like it's
But
like Pokey the Yakuza YouTuber.
yeah, I like I wouldn't mind like like a Yakuza type fit because since but it's weird how I'm even gonna funny enough, I want to take that idea of me being in the Yakuza and then combine it. Or I say me in the Yakuza, but at the same time it's just another character's clothing that I want to commission my character into. Like yeah, you've only played Yakuza 0, right?
That is correct.
Right
Well,
correctly?
and like a quarter of Yakuza Kiwami.
Okay. There's one character to get introduced to in Yakuza 4, and he is my absolute favorite character in all of the Yakuza series. Like he has been the one that's like I want myself in his outfit. And his name's like Akiyama. His whole thing is that he's like he runs a loaning company, but he, God, I I've I see myself as him in a way, and I want to commission my character in his outfit in like a
Okay.
Yakuza type like setting. It would be so cool. I think it would be so cool. I really want to commission my character more in like other game outfits. Like I remember for the longest time, I really wanted to commission my character into oh my god, I wanted to commission it into the character from Neon White.
Cookie with a brick phone.
Imagine. But I
Like,
really wanted to commission myself into like the main character of like Neon White, like White himself. Because since I thought his outfit was really sick, and I think it would be awesome if I was in his outfit.
you know, that actually kind of gave me a funny idea as like maybe not like a lore suggestion, but just like you could just be like, yeah, your Dragon Horde is like video games and nerd things, and just be like cosplay, and just like that's it. Like that's such an easy like lore thing, and you could justify like cosplaying as any character from any game with that basic like is
I
it in
could,
the lore? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm actually dressed up
I
as
mean,
Kiryu
yeah,
Kazuma right now in the
you know,
lore.
it's funny how you said that because actually for a while I was like thinking like I actually IRL I was thinking like man I kind of want to get into cosplay. I like cosplaying, but like I want to play another character. I like playing another character because since I also pointed out I like role playing, but like still like I mean,
Yeah,
actually, funny enough, there could also be another theme that I could have went with. I could just go with cosplaying, as you said.
yeah. Actually, like I said, I think there's a solid like premise kind of there that you could do that you could justify like even kind of lore wise with your current themings.
Yeah.
Um, all right. If you could only play 3 games for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Is it game specific or series specific?
It just says
Should I
games,
ask?
so
Uh,
I
if I had to
love
pick
that you had the
three
white
games,
eyes when you went. Uh, just like that was a traumatic question.
because if it was series, this would be way easier. But now I have to like think of specific type of games, and that's hard to pick for me.
All
And I
right.
don't know if I don't know if I want to like if I want to commit myself to like saying, oh, I want to be like a part of I want to be a part of this character, or I want to use this game, or I want to use this game.
If
But
you want to change it to series, you can.
I'll go with games just to entertain it. But it would probably be very similar. If I had to pick 3 games, I think one of the games I would pick. Fun enough, I would probably pick. I probably would pick uh, Yakuza 0 as one of them, because since I really do love Yakuza 0, but honestly, I've had the most fun with that game anyway. I mean, the other game would probably be a live service, and just because since in my head I don't want to like think of like oh my these are the 3 games that define me. No, it's just like if I had to pick 3 games for the rest of my life to only play, I feel like I would have to pick these 3 or I would pick something that like has replay value. So
Like,
that would be
honestly, something like Fortnite would be weirdly enough actually a really good option for that.
oh I gotta follow. Hang on. Oh
Yo,
wow.
congrats
I
on
can.
your follow, Pokey.
Yeah. Hey, look, you're a fellow L. I forgot. I'm just like, oh, I gotta follow, and then I realized, oh yeah, right. I'm sharing my OBS camera. I forgot about that. Well, there you go.
Did not
But
actually expect that to. I wouldn't have expected that to pop up.
me neither. I didn't think that either would pop up either. I didn't think anyone was gonna follow me, but I there we go. But if if anything, I think my second game I'd pick Marvel Rivals. I've been really adoring Marvel Rivals, and I think I would stick with that because since that's been a really fun game for me, and I've been really having like tons and tons of fun with it.
Okay. You know what?
And then
Fair.
last game, ah, trying to think, what is like another game like I can play? I would probably pick Dark Souls 1. So it would be Yakuza 0, Marvel Rivals, and Dark Souls 1. Those would be the games that I would pick.
Interesting.
If I had to pick series, I would probably pick the Legend of Zelda series because since that's just me at this point. Um, Funny enough, I would also pick the Souls series, so that would be just like anything that's in that Soulsborne category. So like Dark Souls, Dark Souls 1,
Right.
Bloodborne, Elden Ring, Sekiro kind of thing. Why one specifically? Dark Souls 1 is actually my favorite Dark Souls. It is the game that I actually was introduced to on the Soul series, and ever since I played Dark Souls 1, I fell in love with the series immediately. I mean, it's also granted I also played with friends that also made me love the series, but like I loved the little details. I loved the way how it tells story. I love how the game feels. I just love all of that. It felt too perfect to not pick that because also Dark Souls 1 was also real high in replay value as well. So,
Okay. Interesting.
but if I had to pick series, I said Legend of Zelda. As I said, I picked Soul series as another one, but I'm trying to think. The last one I would pick if I had to pick if I had to pick any of the series, I would probably funny enough, I probably would pick the Yakuza series. Actually, no, wait, no, 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 nope, nope.
Oh.
Oh my god. Oh man. Actually, oh my god, that's actually hard because it's actually a tie between two different games. Actually, two different game series. Actually, it's Yakuza and Fire Emblem. It's it's a fight between those two because since I loved Fire Emblem, I love the Fire Emblem series as well. It's one of my favorite RPGs.
You know, you'd have a lot of games because there's like what, like 30 Fire Emblems, and
Oh yeah,
they're all like 80 to a couple hundred hours long if you
like
play them right.
yeah. That's why it's just like it's hard for me to pick because it's like, do I want my dedicated? Do I want because I love Yakuza because it fits my criteria of I love that dedicated story game that's like really takes its story into place. But this also include Warrior. I mean, that's why. I mean,
Probably.
I
We're
probably would
talking
also include
series,
those.
I would
Yeah,
include it. Spin-offs are part
yeah,
of a series, in a sense.
yeah. So, but yeah, I would count that. I would count Warriors,
Okay.
but it it's hard to pick between those two because since Fire Emblem is my favorite RPG, and like I love how you can. There's also a ton of It also has a good amount of replay value because since then characters can change into other classes, scenarios can be entirely different if you use different characters. Um, but also at the same time, as I said, Yakuza fits that story criteria because since I've been loving single player story games so much. Ah, I can't pick between those, but to make it easier, it's one of those two that I would pick if I had to pick solely for series.
Okay. Who's your favorite superhero, and why is it Reed Richards?
Who I know the exact motherfucker who put that in. I knew I know exactly who put that in. First off, I fucking hate Reed Richards. All right. I know, or it's you. I know it's my fucking. It's Blarg, my friend. Fucking. I want to, or I say Blarg. It's the one who called me Blarg earlier. I know he put that fucking question in. I know you put that question in. Or,
Pokey's out here dooming out.
all right,
Just out
but
here just throwing a mask, just like, I fucking hate
oh,
Reed Richards.
I'm just like put on the doom mess. I fumbled Sue Storm. I now hate Reed Richards. I love that was one of the
Just
reasons why
like,
he hated Reed Richards. He just entirely fumbled getting with fucking Sue Storm, so he just like I fucking hate Reed Richards now.
well, and also he had this big project, and Reed had looked over it, and he's like, "This isn't gonna work." And Doom was like, "Fuck you, it will work." And then it didn't work. And then he's like, "God damn it, Richards! I will fucking destroy your life." And then he proceeded to not do that, but somehow be better at Reed at everything but the one thing he sucked at, that like he failed at comparatively.
Yeah, I think if I had to answer that first half of the question seriously, it's just Spider-Man. Spider-Man's always been my favorite hero. I grew up like I grew up with Spider-Man, and he's always kind of just been there. I know one of the games that solidified that I really liked Spider-Man was on the SNES. I loved the SNES game. Or like it was like this any SNES like arcade-ish type game that had
Yeah,
like Venom and Spider-Man. It was like super cool. It was
Maximum
awesome.
Carnage.
I think it was I think it was Maximum Carnage.
I say this
But
because I have my grandparents' is Sega Genesis, and one of my
mhm.
games is a Sega Genesis game where you could play as Spider-Man or Carnage, and it's like an SNES arcade game, and I'm like, I don't think there's many
Yeah,
more of
it was a
those.
beat 'em up. It was a beat 'em up, right?
Yeah,
If I remember correctly? Yeah.
one of your
And also
power-ups is you could call a team up and summon another hero or villain in the case of Venom to help you go try to kick the shit out of Carnage.
yeah, I also know one of the things that I adored was or at it introduced me to a few Spider-Man villains that I actually never really see as well. Like
Oh.
oh my god, Doppelganger. You never see anyone you never see any movie or any like show or anything talk about Doppelganger. The Doppelganger that was the or I believe his name was Doppelganger.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah. I think they
it was
canonically
like
have died. That's why. And no one's just bothered to bring
oh
them back in like 15 years. 15, 20
yeah,
years, however long.
it's just no one brings up Doppelganger, and I thought Doppelganger was such a cool villain, and I kind of
My
I kind of I kind of obsessed over him a little.
my favorite villain is only kind of a villain because he's basically if Luigi Mangione had lightning powers and it's called Cardiac. And his whole thing is he's just like, I discovered the medical industry refuses surgeries to people. Let's go light up the hospital. And then he became a good guy because he's just like, you know what? This is not a productive use of lightning powers and a medical degree. I should just go back to being a doctor. That's like the whole. And now he just teams up with Spider-Man randomly. He still shows up, but he'll show up for like one issue and then be like, "All right, bye," and then you won't see him again until the next time he needs to team up with Spider-Man for something.
Mhm. But yeah, I just know ever since that game, I kind of like I obsessed over Spider-Man, and I also think another reason I obsessed over Spider-Man was the N64 game. It was a 3D one. I remember that one was a really sick one. Fun enough, you also did fight Carnage in that one, and that's where oh my god, I remember one of my vivid memories is that I was terrified of the Carnage mixed Doctor Octopus.
Oh,
Like
okay, that's interesting.
I remember as a kid, I played that as a kid, so the whole what I remember the level I mean, have you played it? Have you played that at all? That N64 game?
N- I don't know. Probably, maybe. Like, I'll be honest. There's a solid chance that I played it and just barely remember it. I know I played it and in 64 in PlayStation 1 era Spider-Man game.
Yeah, I need to look it up. Hang on.
I do
Like
know
I
that
I
that's also the one where the Venom thing of let's search the web. Let's search the web. Calm down, Eddie. And just like I want to go online.
yeah, that was a goofy Venom arc.
That just I remember really
Spider-Man.
liking that. Calm down, Eddie.
Yeah,
He's just like a little
I'm
kid.
yeah, I'm just double checking, but oh no, it was literally just called Spider-Man. Spider-Man and 64. That's literally all it's called. Or some people call it Spider-Man 2000. But I played this. I remember playing this, and the final level of the game was you running away from like a carnage infused Doctor Octopus. And I remember I was so terrified at that thing because since he made like nightmare fuelish sounds to me as a kid, and I was like, that shit's fucking terrifying. And another thing that also like hyped it up was the fucking the level was also like self-destructing and there was a timer, so there was like more pressure to like you gotta get the fuck out of here. And since he was chasing you, I was like so terrified of him. Like if I play the level now, I probably won't be terrified. But God, I remember getting so spooked. I remember getting so scared of him so much.
I know they just did that in a big event of that sort of thing. Not Doc Ock though. It was Green Goblin. Well, Red Goblin. They made a character called Red Goblin, and it was Green Goblin with the Carnage suit, and he was like a whole event bad guy that threatened all of New York, basically. I
Hmm.
think that's kind of similar, but
Yeah. But
um,
there's that answer to that to the superhero question.
yeah. What are your thoughts on cyborgs?
I don't have anything bad about cyborgs. I think cyborgs are cool. I mean, I can't really say much about him. Like I like Cyborg from Teen Titans. He's pretty cool. I'm chill with him. He's awesome.
Right? Would you become a cyborg? They bring it out like next year, just like robot arm, Pokey, with laser
Yeah,
cannons and
you
X-ray
know,
eyes.
I feel like I feel like it's weird how part of me was like, oh, that would be sick if I had that, and then part of me is also like, I'm also a tech nerd, so imagine like, and this has always been prevalent for anyone who works in the technology industry. Technology will always somehow go really fucking wrong with you for no absolute reason. So I am half expecting me with like a cybernetic arm, like, oh, that's sick, and then it starts malfunctioning. I have to actually like do tech issues with my own arm.
Just like, oh, thank God I have like IT training, just taking arm
Yeah,
apart.
yeah, I have to like actually like take my like here. Like I think I would be more interested if it was like the cybernetics from like Cyberpunk. Funny enough.
Yeah, just unplug it from your nervous system, plug it back in. Did that fix it?
Yeah, no, like I think I've always liked how Cyberpunk like does their version of cybernetic
Yeah.
of like cyborgs. Like I think that's been cooler. I think they've done it in a cool way where like you can go like you can have like subtle ones like your eyes or like zoomy eyes or like your like hands like actually have like the metal plating and like a wire and stuff. Like I think they've done it the best way in my opinion. And I think
Okay.
they did it the coolest way.
Okay. Okay.
Like I would want cybernetics like that essentially.
Well, all right. Um, why are you a cube? I don't know what that's a reference to, other than I
It's
assumed the
also
cube thing.
Yep, that's also from my IRL friend. I don't know, I never realized why they named it that in in that game. I never realized why they named it that. But I remember hearing that and I'm just like, I guess I'm also going along with it, but because since it's more of an inside joke, I'm just gonna and it also
Fair
references my
enough.
real name. I'm not gonna go more into it, but that I
Praise the
don't know why they named
cube.
it. Praise the Q.
I next question. Uh the worst part about this like the Google Doc thing that I use to get questions from the viewers is that occasionally
Mhm.
it'll randomly refresh and it'll just shuffle all the questions and I have to go through it and I'm like, which ones have I asked already?
I'm surprised you can't just like delete or you can't like delete the responses for the ones you've already done or like hide them.
Yeah, no, I can only get rid of all of them.
Oh, oof.
All right. Are we down to just the NSFW ones?
Oh boy.
We are. All right, I'll do them
Oh
anyway.
boy.
We can even rapid fire them. Do it
All right,
jiggle.
sure. Does it jiggle? Yes, it does. Next question.
Top or bottom?
Both.
How much of a top and or bottom?
50-50.
Yeah, cool. And that is all the questions you got asked.
That's fucking crazy. Just the first one, do a jiggle. Yes, it does. Next question.
All right.
No, you want to gave me the energy of?
But
Have you seen the meme of like have you seen the meme of just like, hey, let's play 100 questions. So what do you want to be when you grow up? Doritos Cool Ranch. All right, next question. Are you a top or bottom?
Doritos Cool Ranch.
Doritos Cool Ranch. Next question. Are you a top or a bottom?
People wanted answers. What's the best
uh,
flavor of Doritos?
what's the best flavor of Doritos?
Yeah, what's your favorite flavor of Doritos?
The base Doritos. I haven't had it. I don't think there's any other flavored Doritos that I've really adored. I like the regular Doritos more. Because also then again, I like them more because since I think one of the things that drove me to really like them has been fucking oh my god, it's been my mother made this taco pizza at
Okay.
home, and we essentially the way how we made it was just like it was bread. I think we also had our pizza sauce and we also had our cheese, but we also had like bits of taco meat on there, bits of tomato, bits of lettuce, um, some like I think we also had sour cream like kind of like sprayed onto it as well. But then in order to give it like that hard shell kind of texture, we would just do crumbled Doritos and we put it all over the pizza.
Oh,
Oh my
that
god, it
that
was
actually
so
sounds
good.
fantastic. Actually, I would totally
It
eat
was
that.
it was so good because we found it from like this like local pizza place. And oh my god, if you can get it, or if you can make it. It's so unbelievably good.
Okay.
But from the sounds of it, we're done with all the questions, it
Yeah,
seems.
yeah, we've hit the end of the questions. I will say I think it's really funny that you got more NSFW questions than Sil did.
And so it just got more questions in
Yeah, Sil
general.
got more questions in general, but you did get more NSFW questions than Sil somehow. And even if it was just two, and I think that that is hilarious.
Wow,
So,
the irony. Yeah.
like, that doesn't even make like people always thirst after her, so that's like confusing to my brain.
It's the thing is, I have linked with more. I feel like I've linked, like, with even with how many people like Sil talks to, I feel like I've linked to way more. I think I've like talked to way more people in the not safe for workspace than anything. Like
Fair.
I've talked to a lot of like significantly amount of more people. I feel like I've talked to a significantly amount of more people than Sil in the not safe for workspace. I feel like it anyway. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong entirely, but I feel like I have at least.
Fair. Um, I guess this is where we start talking about the future for you. So,
Oh,
do you have anything upcoming that you'd like to promote or shout out or talk about that you're going to be doing in the near future?
um, I think the only I don't really have like I want to. I mean, most I really want to say is I want to do more VR chat streams. I want to do more VR chat stuff, and I feel like it would be more interesting if I did more VR chat stuff. And I should do it without having Sil like be the catalyst of why I get into VR in the first place. I feel like I should just do it more myself, or at least like maybe like I do what she used to do and like get in VR by myself, sit there, just have it like an exaggerated like just chatting stream. I want to do that more because since I feel like it would be fun and I've been liking doing VR more.
Okay.
I want to I want to think of VR as a more positive space in my head than anything as well. So
I
I want to incorporate more into my streams.
I probably need to do that with VR chat also. Honestly, I want to incorporate more just stuff into my streams also, just for that matter. I feel that.
Yeah,
Respect.
but other than that, like I don't have a specific I don't have anything else specific like happening with my streams. Like if you want, like if anyone who's there, you can come follow my Twitch. I mean, you saw Kit Kat or Kit Kat
Follow you
literally
live
follow
on.
me. Follow me live on stream, guys. If you want to do that right now, you can find me in the title. It's like right over there. But
I'll also
oh wow,
shout you
actually
out just because I can, so you'll get a shout out too.
yeah. But
And
I mean also
oh, go on.
but other than that, like I don't have any other really plans for streaming. Like
All
like
right.
I don't have like I want to do one of those marathons. Definitely. I want to do one of those game marathons.
Oh yeah, like how
And
me and Sylvan kind of doing, where you just play all of a
yeah,
franchise
yeah.
like back to
I want to
back.
do I want to do all of Devil May Cry and I want to do all of Metal Gear. But one of the one I've been trying to I want to push them more to my streams because since one of the ones that or two of the ones that I'm doing right now is both Yakuza and the Batman Arkham series. And I probably will be doing the Batman. I probably will maybe when I get into Arkham Knight, I will stream it more. Because since I mean also then again, um my if I'm gonna do it, I'm also gonna be doing it getting all the achievements for it as well. And that's the plan for it as well.
Okay.
So if you guys are interested in seeing someone go through the entire Arkham series, and get every single achievement for the game, for all the games actually, especially I mean even if Arkham Shadows had it, because I'm also going to stream Arkham Shadows 100%. I'm going to find a way, figure out a way to do it.
All
But
right.
I'm really interested in trying to do it because since my biggest thing about it, or that I've been pushing for it, is that it's been my tribute to Kevin Conroy, and because since as you can probably tell from the cartoons thing, like he was one of my favorite voice actors. So me going through every single one of the Batman Arkham games. I mean, I know he's not in Arkham Origins or Shadows or Blackgate, but he's still in a good amount of them, like in a majority of them. So I still want to do them all anyway. And Arkham Origins is the only one I haven't played, but still.
Okay.
Um,
Promote
but
yourself real quick. Oh,
Alright,
sorry.
but if you guys would like to, if you guys would like to see that, you can come follow my Twitch, Pokelink25, POKELANK 25 at oh my god, I almost said at at my at my email.
Yeah, just check him out. You can just guess his email address. You know the first
Yeah,
part.
you guys, yeah, funny enough,
Spam
I mean,
him.
it's really
Sign him up for all sorts of things. He should be getting
no,
ads for farmersonly.com.
no, but no,
You don't have
if
to
it,
be lonely at farmersonly.com.
but across all of my socials, it should just be POKELANK 25, and you should be able to find me. You would find me anywhere, and you'll see me. You'll see me like somehow reference my Twitch account. Even in fucking VR chat, it's also the same name. But so either way, um, if you guys would like to drop me a follow, please do. I've I've also recently just passed that 700 threshold, and I would honestly like to push more of those marathon streams. As I said, I want to do Devil May Cry. I want to do Metal Gear. I want to finish the Batman series, but I'm trying to find one that both Celvion and Sil doesn't have on their list at all. That's one. That's funny enough. That's the reason why I've been wanting to push to do Batman Arkham, because since or the Batman Arkham specifically, because since I want you guys, I want to do one where you guys don't have it on your list, and then I can go like, yeah, you should do this series because this is a fucking amazing series.
Actually, now
You
that I
know?
think about it, both me and Sil have Metal Gear on our lists, and I think we
Yeah, I know.
also both have Devil May Cry too.
Yeah. Why do you think I put Batman Arkham on there?
You know, fair, fair.
Like that's literally the main reason why I threw Batman Arkham. But I want to find a different one to do entirely on stream, and I want to do it all on stream, and I want to make it like I want to make it like a decently big series as well, and I'll find one eventually, and I think it would be interesting because I think it would be really fun, and I think it would be really interesting. But I also know I can't even do the Metal Gear one because I don't have a PS3.
Yeah,
So
fair. All right. Well, yeah. If you want to head on out, but thank you so much for being on here, Pokey. It was wonderful to have you. Cheryl in the lobby will validate your parking. My God, he's giant. He's all right. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all had a cell of a night. If you enjoyed the show and you haven't yet, please give a follow. It really helps the algorithm and my self-esteem. Check out Pokey. They are in the title, and I also just shouted them out. I don't think I can actually do it again. I think it's been too soon.
yeah,
But join the
remember
Discord.
my socials are POKELANK 25 on everything. You should be able to find me really easily. You can join my Discord, follow my Twitter. Those are the places where I can update you the most on my own streams. But really, I don't. As for me, I stream randomly. So honestly, please join the Discord or follow my Twitter because since then you'll get notifications every single time I go live.
All right. And I hope you all have a wonderful night. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Bye.